Welcome everybody to the Starside Invitational. That's right, we have reached the grand finals. DoA here along with Yuuj, and we have 4 awesome games of Teamfight Tactics locked and loaded for you. 8 amazing players. Yuuj, we have just gone through 3 intense days of a lot of Teamfight Tactics casting. What do you think we're going to see today?
Well, today I think we're going to see a lot of individuals try very, very hard to come out on top. We do have 5 NA players and 3 Chinese players in the finals. We were down to a very, very close tiebreaker between Khroen, Hudie, Becca, and Inay at the very end. Unfortunately for Inay, everyone else did have first place victories, and so Inay was not able to qualify for the finals, and Khroen, Hudie, and Becca were the ones that advanced.
Yep, that's right. That ended up being the only tiebreaker we needed, just tracking the number of first places the 63-point players had. And Khroen had the most, and unfortunately for Inay, like I mentioned, didn't have any at all. But look at Shendu and Inay up at the very, very top. I guess Kiyoon is there as well as 73, but Shendu kind of is standing above everybody else. So even though China may be a little bit less represented in the top 8, I think the best player in this tournament so far, in my opinion, has been Shendu from China. He's shown just such an amazing variety of compositions, right up to bringing back Brawler Void, which I think is a nice counterplay option to a lot of the early reroll comps, especially like Exodia Poppy plus a bunch of sorcerers. So I'm really curious to see what he's going to play today now that like every single game matters so much, right? Because we're resetting it. We're wiping the board clean. Everybody starts at 0 points, and you can see 4 rounds will decide who our champion is going to be.
Yeah, definitely after 4 rounds, it's going to be a lot closer in that sense. Tiebreakers will be the same if it comes down to it. And so first place wins will be very, very important in tonight's competition.
Yeah, for sure. Because you can see on the right side, the points are slightly different than what you might have seen in some other tournaments, where there is a little drop off from 4th to 5th as well, just to incentivize people really, really trying to get that top 4. And then of course first is a little bit more, but we'll see. I'm really curious. I think honestly, any of the players in this lobby have a chance of taking it. I think there are some that maybe are slightly stronger than others, but over the course of 4 games, especially in a new meta where there's still a lot of experimentation going on, I could really see any one of these players be the champion. Let's see what they're playing for. Let's check out the prize pool really quick. First place gets $800. That is a lot of little legends. And then all the way down to $225 for 8th. So yeah, among that also is the opportunity to play for Pride, right? I mean, the TFT esports scene is just kind of starting out, just kind of growing right now as we get more of these kind of grassroots tournaments going, and players are able to really start making a name for themselves. And that's important, if they want to be picked up by teams, if they aren't already, if they want to get more invites to invitationals, and just more incentive for other players who maybe want to be a pro to grind the ladder and really take it seriously and see what they can do. Especially now that Riot has announced some of their plans, and we know that ladder is going to be important in regions like NA.
Yeah, having previous results in tournaments will really help you when it comes down to it. There's a lot of NA pride versus Chinese pride here on the line for this tournament as well. You will see the Chinese players trying their best and to win, as well as the North American players, because it's not just about the money anymore. It's more about who's better. Is NA better? Is China better? Who has the better meta? And so.
Well, I'm just saying we got 5 NA players in the top 8. It's only one more, but it's one more.
There's one more, but China does have the top player. You
I
need
agree.
to know
I
that
agree.
Shendu, despite also getting, I think, 2 8th places, was still the top point earner.
Yeah.
And so he is able to take out wins when he needs them.
Yep, absolutely. Like if you had to, if you made me bet on who I thought was going to win the entire thing, easy choice, I would pick Shendu. I think honestly the other biggest threat, funny enough, may be Kiyoon, just because uncontested Mech Infiltrator is still ridiculously strong. It's definitely not as strong as it was But again, totally uncontested, it can really kind of make waves. And Kiyoon doesn't necessarily need to get first. If he gets 4 top 4s, a lot of times in a 4 game set, that will get you number one. So I think he's a real contender as well. And then we have so many other players good at so many other compositions. You want to mention Becca as well, I suppose, in that she's been playing a lot more of the like mana printer Sona builds as well, leaned a little bit more towards Star Guardians than some of the other players we've got in the lobby. And everybody kind of has their thing, right? Khroen has Chrono Kale a lot of times. Kurum likes Dark Stars. So it's a clash of styles too, and ways to address the new meta. So it should be really fun.
Yeah, we do have a couple of really versatile players. You and Inay and Shendu. They're a couple players that never really locked themselves into a certain comp yet, and
Mhm.
so they've been switching back and forth between different comps. And I really think that their versatility will show during this series instead of everyone else has that who has been running the same comp over and over again.
Yep, that's right. I think the only comp that you genuinely can just like force every single game is Mech Infiltrator again because of the hesitancy people have of trying to contest you, right? Because it's one of those comps that becomes so bad if it's contested.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know. I'm curious. Inay is going to be a fun player to watch too, though. You mentioned him, and he played 3 different comps yesterday, including get up to 9 Revels. But check this out: we actually have a special galaxy for our first time out. It's a star cluster galaxy. There's been so much discussion over how exactly you're supposed to address star cluster. Obviously, getting a 2 star of a 1 cost is very important now that there's a lot of re-rolling going on. But then again, you can't ignore that the item is always important. So I'm really curious to see what we're going to see. Shendu, with arguably a very strong pickup early on, gets a Zaya and the gloves.
Yeah, he does get the gloves. I'm really curious on what people will go down the path. Shendu actually managed to get the Zaya, so that's really good for him if he does try to go reroll comp with Zaya. He does have 2 gloves already, and that's really, really good, especially for Zaya Shredder build.
Yeah, you can do a lot of things with that as well. I mean, generally, I think the best version of this has Zaya with the Last Whisper and the Infinity Edge, and then some sort of defensive item. Some people are building it with the Static Shiv, but I think that falls off a little bit too hard late game. So this is really kind of like if you want to go the reroll thing, this is kind of the ideal champ with the ideal item starting out here. But then you can always sell it too. Oh, it's a rocket. Whoa, I've never seen that before. Have you seen that before?
It flies around every now and then. It just comes from
Really?
sometimes at the top of the screen or the bottom of the screen.
For some reason, I don't think I've ever seen that rocket before, and I've played a lot of games of galaxies, so I'm a little bit surprised about that. Huh. So no more Zayas for Shendu just yet, it looks like. And no more items really either, just sitting on those 2 gloves. And a lot of times you kind of end up waiting and seeing what you get off the items before you really make your decision, right? He does find Illusion in the shop, but he doesn't really have great initial Brawler Blaster items like the red buff or something.
Yeah, it's hard to say what he's gonna do. I think he does want to take advantage of the Zaya as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I would. There's and there you go. There's so he finds a chain vest, part of a defensive item. He also has the rod, which if you put a death cap on the Jarvan, suddenly that attack speed boost goes way, way up. I was experimenting with that a little bit today, and I was shocked at just how much the attack speed on his ultimate increases with just even like a single rod. So you can boost Zaya really, really fast with the Jarvan start. But he's picking up a number of different things. Uh, looks like some stuff off to the left he wouldn't mind selling per se. I wonder what we're going to see.
I don't know. I've saw him like he picked up a Lucian and just sold it instantly, and it was he doesn't and he hasn't picked up a Jarvan, so it doesn't. Oh, never mind, he picked it up.
Yeah, I think
So
he needs to do a bit of scouting as well. Obviously, everybody's going to be more or less buying out their benches right now. And the stuff on the right is all stuff that works in early versions of the Zaya comp. I call it like Zaya roll right now, or like Blade Reaver or something like that. or
Yeah,
because generally you're gonna have the mana reaver there. But you want the early chrono bonus for a little while. Caitlyn Shen gives you that. Shen is a blade master, so he helps you go towards that synergy with Xayah.
I
So
think
we'll
it's fun.
see.
Yeah, I think it's been pretty funny with how people have been naming that comp. They've seen like Shredder, the Shredder Xayah build. I think the most interesting one I've seen recently is someone calling it Unlimited Blade Works, specifically for these anime fans out there. You know that the Fate Stay Night references are real.
I have never seen that anime, so I can't relate, sadly. But if you name something after Dragon Ball Z or Cowboy Bebop, I can probably get that reference.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of room for naming comps. I do think just when you tell Twitch chat to name team comps, you get some really weird
No,
ones.
don't do that. I don't trust them unless they're in my
I mean,
Twitch
they're
chat.
the
Then I
ones that
trust
came
them.
up with Candyland. So what are you gonna say?
Yeah, I like Xayah roll for this because I mean I like to keep it simple. Like it's Xayah and you reroll. You know, it's called Xayah roll. There's another Xayah in the shop right now, but like I said, he really hasn't gotten a ton of great items for this initially. Shendu does like to play a little bit wider, just to leave his options open.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, so
I
there's the
mean,
dark
once
hole.
again, you see him holding some mech.
Right. So you do kind of wonder if that might be the direction.
I mean,
So
it doesn't really affect his eco, so it's like, so why not
yeah,
right now?
exactly. Yep, he can always sell like the Fiora or something like that. Sell something to hit 10 if he doesn't win this round. And it looks like it will be pretty difficult for him to win this round. That TF is going to be doing a lot of damage as soon as the ult goes off. And it's going to take a long time to burn down the Malphite as well. Yeah, so as soon as the
Yeah,
poppy
the
falls, that'll be about it.
Malphite's just holding onto all the mech items right now. So it's perfect for Kiyoon. That's why he went for the Malphite early. Just find a defensive item, and then
Yeah.
Malphite works very well as a solo tank. You don't need to actually commit anymore to brawlers just for him.
Oh my. It is a full item carousel here. So there's a lot to consider now. If you're Shendu, you can see just kind of waiting. Yeah, I think you got to go for the Infinity Edge because he's got the gloves. So if he gets a bow, then he can make the Last Whisper. And those are kind of like the two core items on Xayah in this build. So I like just grabbing the Infinity Edge. I think maybe he was thinking about, yeah, you see him circling the Guardian Angel. I think that's another item that's pretty important for Xayah as well in this build. Um, so we'll see if he comes to be happy with his choice or regret it. But time to move on to somebody else. See what Becca's up to in the lobby here. So she finds a redemption early, and Becca, as we mentioned earlier, really loves playing the mana printer Sona build. So just kind of putting those items on Zoe for the moment, and those will probably get moved over to the Sona a little bit later.
Yeah, she picked up the Zoe on the first carousel, right? So,
Right.
or no, she didn't. I feel like she picked up the TF. Who knows?
Oh, really? Could be.
Anyways, anyways,
Why
it's
would you put a
likely
sword on it?
that she will move into the Sona printer build from this standpoint.
Yep. Runs into Kurum, who has a pretty strong early build here with the Protector, Celestial. He's even got the Rakan with the GA. That is an insanely strong opening for Kurum.
Yeah, he's been aggressively leveling and spending his gold as well.
Yeah. Well, I think right now in the meta, it seems like if you're not going to reroll, you should try to level aggressively because you need to be able to beat their early 3 stars with just numbers and synergies, basically, and higher level characters, higher cost characters, I should say. So, what he's doing, definitely a valid strategy as well. Khroen, the only player in the lobby that has not yet lost, and he tends to play a fairly wide, fairly tight early game too.
So I noticed if you've noticed, Becca has been holding on to this Kha'Zix here, and recently there's been a build that's developed using Sona Mana Printer, and
Yep.
so we call that the Laser Printer build, where you use it's more or less Void, and a Sona Mana Printer. So
Right. To
you have
counter
your Void
Vel'Koz, yeah.
Brawler comp, and so we call it the Laser Printer build.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I think I heard that Salvi was playing that comp a lot when I was talking with Frodan earlier today. I haven't seen it in action too many times yet myself, but I'm a fan of Void Brawlers, so anything that can make that perform greater and power up the Vel'Koz, I am 100% for. So I think you might be right. I think she's leaving herself open with that. Does have the Brawlers as well.
Yep. Definitely looking to transition into that later on as the game goes on.
Hmm. Finds a bow. Okay. So probably not the item she's really looking for, but there's a tier. That is definitely an item she's looking for.
Also, one thing to note with this Void Brawler build, you do not have to hyper roll compared to the
Yeah.
other builds. So you don't need a Poppy. And that,
Yeah.
I think, itself makes it a much more reliable strat to go down.
Yeah, with Void Brawler, back when I played it a lot, one of the things I really liked about the build is that the only pressure you really felt early on was simply pressure to have a strong board, which if you're, really familiar with early synergies and what champions are just, overall stronger, it's pretty easy to have a strong early game and then set yourself up for that Void transition like around level 7 or so.
Definitely good to have just be able to transition like that. You
Yeah.
see Becca really considering, do I want to just keep throwing items on the Zoe? I feel like this tier right now doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, I don't think it helps a whole lot, especially when she gets Blitzcrank grabbed. But at
She more or
some
less
point,
just gets full mana from the start, so there's no point adding an extra tier.
yeah, at some point she'll want to put the Sona in and start healing. So I wonder, because obviously this board is not terribly strong right now. She's got a good amount of HP, still in the 70s at this point. But you kind of wonder if maybe you can build a stronger board and incorporate the Sona now, especially now that it's the Sona 2, and create something that's just more based around like brawlers and then some sort of more effective damage dealer than just two sorcerers, because your TF2 just like is not going to do a lot of damage right now. So I wonder what we're going to see.
It definitely is time to just kind of throw the Sona in.
Yeah, for sure. Yep,
And
definitely don't want to put the
she more
redemption
or
on the
less was
Sona.
waiting for the Sona 2 and a replacement Zoe, which was perfect for her to
Mhm.
keep the sorcerer.
Yeah, I wonder if she would get more mileage out of like honestly Kha'Zix, or if she put the Caitlyn in and gave herself Chrono or something like that. I guess she still has Chrono with TF anyway, but two sorcerer is not doing a ton for her right now. Uh, so with this loss streak, I wonder if she's thinking about maybe making some changes on the board.
It's likely that eventually, as she levels up, she's going to be able to get more in because this comp is just not you. You don't really have a strong board early
Yeah, I
unless
mean you
you
can
have to build something else and transition into it.
exactly, yeah. Early on, one-star brawlers and weak damage dealers are not going to win you a lot of rounds. But look at this, Zoe 3 picked up by Honglian, one of our Chinese representatives in the top 8, and it looks like he's going for possibly Vanguard Sorcerer. Just doing a little
Yeah,
bit of scouting right now.
definitely looks like it at this point.
Yeah. Hudie actually picks up an RE2. There's a lot of players. Oh, and there's a Poppy 3 for Hudie as well, showing up on the sidebar. There's a lot of players playing sorcerers in this lobby right now. This is not what I expected out of game number 1, honestly.
If you've noticed, everyone's just taking Kha'Zixes, and then they're just using them temporarily. There's so many people who just have Kha'Zix on the board.
Yeah, he did get a buff basically across all star levels in the last patch, so he's certainly a stronger one cost than he was before.
Yeah, and you can see Inay is just throwing items to let Kha'Zix hold.
Yep. Ooh, some spatulas. All right, that's exciting.
Shogath.
Yep. There's a chance you could even make like a you could even go sorcerers and add that Star Guardian Vel'Koz in there possibly at
Yeah.
some point, or Star Guardian anything. Becca, of course, just grabs another tier. The it's the more chalices you can have on Sona, the better. I
Yeah, she
wonder if
definitely
she'll
doesn't.
use that for Seraphs. I feel like I
I
don't
don't
know
think
this
she's gonna
build very
sell
well,
that.
but what's that?
I don't think she's gonna sell that. I think she's going to hold it until later on, until she gets a replacement Cho'Gath, and then she can make an item. Then she'll take it off for an item.
Yeah, that's possible. I'm just wondering with those tiers if she would make a Seraphs eventually, or if she would save that for more Negatron cloaks and go for more chalices. Like I said, I haven't played this build a ton, so I don't necessarily know what the ideal itemization is on Sony yet. Seems like double chalice and then one other thing is probably the way to go, but I think the jury's still out on that one a little bit.
I think
Meanwhile,
at least
Honglian,
2 chalices. You need at least 2 chalices.
right. What do you do with the third item though? Ooh, Vel'Koz. Oh,
I
lots of
mean, if
Vel'Koz.
you can't get another chalice, why not? But
Three chalice?
why not?
I feel like you need something else. I
Tier
don't
would
know.
be
Three of the same item just feels like there's a better way you can build it, you know? I'm trying to think of like, oh man, he got wrecked. I'm trying
I
to
mean,
think of like,
the ideal would be 2 chalice and, a Seraphs, right? Because that would make
that's
her
what I'm wondering.
refill her
Yeah.
mana every single time.
Right. That's what I'm wondering if that's going to be ideal rather than three chalice. But I
It
don't know. I need to talk to more pros that are playing it and find out. Let's see
There's
what
just too
Kurum is
many
up to.
tiers. There's just way too many tiers.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Fortunately,
even
Honglian
three tiers is a
actually
lot of tiers to get in
dropping.
one game.
Oh, he reconnected.
Yeah. All right. So, Karum X, what is he up to right now? He is going for a little bit of a mix of things, just playing a really strong board right now. Has a couple directions he could choose to go. Um, could end up going for Kale once he picks that up. He's got a lot of defensive items, though. This is interesting. He's got nearly all defensive items. So I wonder what the plan is for that. Because it seems like he
Probably.
wants to go for like that Blade Reaver build, right? The Blade Master, Mana Reaver, and then usually have like 2 Chrono, 2 Celestial.
Yeah, it's very hard. I really don't know where he's going with it because he's kind of gone. He's got this front line, but Rakan is actually doing a lot for his team.
Yeah, he certainly can. I mean, he's got a strong board, but so I honestly like the position that Karm is in right now. I hate being in because I know my board is strong right now, but I also know that as soon as some of the tighter synergies and the tighter compositions start coming online around 4-1, this strong board is going to just start falling off because there's no real sort of direction to it. Adds in Celestial with the Ash here, and he has Sniper as well. So he could transition this into Dark Stars. He could also maybe go for Vanguard Sniper. I kind of like the Dark Star direction, and I know he does love playing Dark Stars, so maybe that's where he goes eventually with it. Could just be like a massive carry Mordekaiser game, but no Mords at 3-7 is concerning.
Yeah, I think he's just going to he's going to switch into more of a like you mentioned, like a chrono based comp. It
Hmm.
it's hard to say because his items just don't fit that well.
Well, yeah, that's why I was saying, like with the items, I look at that and I think to myself, oh well, carry Mordekaiser would be really good, but he doesn't have any Mordekaisers. He's picking up Dark Stars because he's really good at playing that comp. Um, but he's not picking up the Aurelia because she really wouldn't do a lot for him right now because he doesn't really have any items for her. So I feel like this is going to go in a Dark Star direction. He's just like a little bit late with the transition. The good news is that he's got 94 HP, so he's going to have some room to do that. Going up against Kiyoon, who of course is playing the Mech Infiltrator. Got the mech pretty early, actually.
He does have a Bramble Vest on the mech, which is really going to help him.
Yeah, Bramblevest QSS. I guess got the mech right on time if he just found that fizz. Hard to say. I mean, Karma's board is really strong, though. Kiyoon down to 34 HP. Whoa. Oh, interesting.
He just picks that up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he has the 2 cybernetics that are the hardest to find and does not have any of the other ones.
Yeah, it's a little bit too late. And again, like he just is lacking offensive items in general.
He does have his items are really strong. They're just not the right ones for the team comp.
Right, they're
In
for
the
tanks.
long run. In the long
Right.
run.
So I'm really curious. I feel like this could go, like I said, he could go Dark Star, and he does have stuff on the bench to support that, or he could go like Vanguard Sniper or something. Either way, you want a composition that includes a very strong tank line because you can just superpower one of your tanks with those items.
Caitlyn
He took down the
actually being
Poppy.
the only way to kill the Poppy is the Caitlyn.
Yep.
Oh wow. He's
Are you
really
kidding me?
he if he gets the Leona anytime soon.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: is that now that he has two Aurelias, he is going to Carousel, and he is going into Arc Raptors after that. So in theory, with the Kale there on the bench as well, he could put together a Blade Master comp and go for kind of that Chrono Blade Master sort of style. It's another Kale, actually. He sells one and goes for the Lulu. Okay.
So he just needs to find a Leona, and then he'll have 6 Cyber.
Yeah. Funny enough.
Although it will make his board kind of weak because they're all 1 stars, but it's very,
I mean, I
it's
guess you have
very,
the,
very difficult.
yeah, the stats sort of make up for it, I suppose.
It's kind of I think he's in the transition process right now.
Yeah, for sure. Seems like cybernetics is the way he wants to go, but finding things like a Leona is actually going to be a little bit challenging right now. Like a Leona, and well, he has a Fiora. What is he missing? Is it just a Leona right now?
He's just missing the Leona, which is a 14% chance here. At
Right.
least it's higher than getting another Echo.
Yeah. Well, there is. Oh wow, that's an Aurelia with a gloves. That would be perfect, but he's probably not going to get a chance to grab it because somebody else definitely wants that Aurelia
Yeah, the Aurelia is
or the
too
gloves.
good.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, you have a sword. Well, there's your Aurelia with Infinity Edge, so that's one of the primo
Wow, he might
items.
actually get it.
What? Really? Wow. Yeah.
Oh no, Shendu wants it. I
Uh,
I think
that
in
was
part
close.
Shendu also looked and scouted to see what Kurum wanted, since it's very likely that where Kurum is standing, that Shendu is going to come down against Kurum in the end.
Yeah. Well, we'll check back with Kurum later. Seems like he's going that cybernetics direction rather. Now on board with Hudie, who is running. Looks like that Star Guardian Sorcerer build that we were talking about. He
Got
even
that
has
Leona.
the Aurelian Soul in there. All right, why not? I mean, it's a strong unit with a Morellonomicon, so you don't really need. I mean, he could go. Yeah, never mind. He can't even do really mystics with this right now. So he just basically has an extra slot while he's waiting for the opportunity to put 6 sorcerers in. That an 8 soul with a Morellonomicon. That's a perfectly fine temporary addition.
Yeah, they have 4 sort for it, so Aurelian Soul is going to do a lot more damage than normal.
Yeah, Poppy 3 and Leona 3 as well. And Aurelian Soul has left the space station. And Poppy is
He's
just
just
so
flying
scary.
around while Poppy tanks. He's just waiting for Poppy to do. Oh, no, mind, Poppy's dead.
Well, Poppy doesn't have a Bramble Vest, so that's definitely not the best Poppy you could see. It's still strong, but it's going to lose out to these AD teams, like especially Isaiah 3 is as you can see, just going to chew through this Poppy.
Yeah, definitely. The Poppy's just got rolled straight through by the Zaya 3 with her crits, and
Right.
not much he could do there.
So one thing he could do right now is swap out the Leona 3 for the Wukong and then put the TF in instead of the Annie and gain Chrono with that. That's a
I'm actually
popular
curious why
move.
he doesn't have the TF anyways instead over the Annie. Because I feel like Annie 1 is just not very good in the first place.
I would agree with you. I'm a little bit surprised as well. I think TF would add a little bit more damage and a little bit more survivability. And honestly, like Leona 3, I'm not a huge fan of. I think she's still one of the weaker one costs, especially if you don't itemize her. So I would say it's probably worth it, honestly, to swap it out for a Wukong 1 and get that Chrono buff.
Oh, Honglian going down.
Yeah, Honglian out in 8th and fast exit for him. So he's got the ability to put in 6 sorcerers right now. And so I think what we're going to see is probably after Arc Raptors, he's going to level up to 8 and then complete the build. Certainly possible. Oh, it is. I think. Did I see? I think Becca is running the laser printer, the
Yeah, it
Void with
looked like
the
a laser
sonar.
printer really quickly when it got moused over.
Yeah, I thought that's what I saw. It was very fast, but I'm
I saw
confident.
those saws and I saw Sona with
Yep.
some chalices.
And I think I saw the sparkly void effect there too. Ooh, GA. All right. I'd be very happy if I was CDA right now. Be like, hey, Guardian Angel for my carry. That is pretty sick. Yep. QSS for Leona, also sick. Yeah, there's level 8. And you have to imagine he would go for go 6 sorcery here.
Well, Zareth.
Right. So what's it going to be?
I think he's gonna throw in his Sorks.
Yep. Maybe not. Okay, 5 sorcerer. Interesting. Temporary GA on the Aurelian Soul.
So I wonder if the GA thing is fixed with Aurelion Soul. Because sometimes when Aurelion Soul dies with GA, he just comes back and stops moving.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man, I
Very
haven't run
interesting.
GA in
It
my comp
happens
for so
sometimes,
long. I
but
don't even know.
it happens sometimes, but like I feel like it should be fixed by now, but
Ah.
I don't know because
Ooh.
it's I've always thought GA on Aurelion Soul has always been a waste of an item slot anyways, since he's not supposed to die first.
Yeah, I suppose. Dude, I'm very excited because he's got the Gangplank. He knows. Hudie knows the late game transition for this build. He knows that what you do is you ditch the Vanguards and you go for Gangplank and Rumble. And then you have basically like Super Nico Ultimate in the middle. He's got the items for it as well.
But the Vanguard's a 3-star.
Yeah,
Poppy
but
is
3-star
OP.
Leona is like not that good at this point in the game. She's
But
not.
Poppy,
Yeah, Poppy is strong, but you know, if you get that GP2 with items and Rumble is going to do a lot more for your comp than Poppy with subpar items. And Poppy without the Bramble Vest is definitely not as tanky as a Poppy could be by a lot,
okay,
as you
I
can see.
guess
Oh, the GP, no!
he doesn't.
The
Oh,
build! He wants to go level 9 here. He really loves this Aurelian Soul, actually.
Aurelion Soul does do a lot of damage, given the fact that he does have 6 sorcerer. So
Yeah.
Aurelion Soul can just fly around and hit everything for
Well,
way more damage than he normally would have.
if he had 6 Sorcerer, Aurelion Soul would definitely be doing the 6 Sorcerer damage, but he's only got 5 at the moment. I guess if he
He
goes
will
for
have
a fast
6 next
9,
round. He will have
yes,
6 next round.
exactly. So he's been willing to take a bit of damage for this. He's down to 22. So this is a calculated risk by Hudie saying, this Aurelion Soul is too important. I need this at level 9. So I'm sacrificing some HP, not putting in 6 Sork. It looks like he's going to sacrifice even more HP as Shendu is just wrecking him with the Zaya roll build. Got the 3-star Jarvan. Oh, he nearly died there too. 6 HP. And the 3-star Zaya. Shendu looking like he's on track to get a pretty strong win streak going here.
Well, there's a GA Gangplank right there.
Yes, there is. That
Who
is.
is thinking? Does he want the Zareth or does he want the Death Cap? He wants the Death Cap.
Yep. I mean, if you're planning on sticking with the Aurelian Soul, I guess you just power it up even more, you know?
Yeah, it's really close lobby. Everyone is going to die very soon, and as I thought, it's very close going to be very closely likely going to be Shendu and Kurum at
Yeah.
the end. Becca, however, has been at 14 health for quite a while and actually has been on sort of a win streak. I think at least 2 wins in a row.
She's been trading wins, so she's staying alive. There's the 6 Sorcerer. And I guess we'll have to wait and see if the death cap ends up benefiting him. Let's move in with Khroen here and see what he's up to. Just Brawler Blaster. Khroen loves to play Brawler Blaster. It's his most played comp, I believe, besides Chrono Kale. And in this meta, it's hard to go wrong with Brawler Blaster. Runs
Yeah,
into
he's
Becca.
running Brawler Blaster with Aurelia, so
Yeah.
he does get a cybernetic.
So the so Becca's comp, the laser printer, as it's called, is basically made to handle some of these hyper
Wow,
roll
just look at
comps. Oh my god,
this.
Bobby.
I think Poppy might win this.
That is a lot of shield and not much HP. Oh my gosh. Not like this. Not
Oh, Poppy's
like
shield
this.
one-shot it.
Oh no. All right.
Oh,
So against
Inay.
magic
Oh,
damage,
Inay's at 1
Poppy's gonna be
HP.
great. Yeah.
Wow, that Poppy.
Yeah. Blitz 2, always a nice little upgrade. Has the Jinx too. Khroen is in great shape right now. So he opted to go with the Mana Reaver variation. We've seen some people play a Rebels package with this to power up the Jinx even more. Another popular one lately has been the Mana Reaver that uses Aurelia as a second carry to just kind of get in the back line and cause problems there, because sometimes it takes a while for the blasters to sort of chew through the front line. And so if you have Aurelia in the back while your brawlers are attacking the front, you can kind of hit the opponent from both sides. You also get the cybernetic buff doing this too, because of Vi and Lucian. So this is a
Yeah.
very, very strong version of this build. And as strong as Poppy's shields are, there's too much attack damage coming through here for
Yeah,
Poppy to survive.
mostly because of the fact that Aurelia has a last whisper. As soon as she gets one crit, everyone will be able to take down that Poppy very, very quickly.
Yep. Also, the fact that Poppy just didn't have a Bramble Vest means that, you know, you're just very weak to attack damage.
Definitely. But we see
He's
Kiyoon. I
dead
think
now. He's gone.
Kiyoon had a GA, I think.
Mhm.
Or what was the item on his? I think it was a GA on his cane.
Possibly. I missed it. I was looking at the sidebar because I'm shocked. Becca is out in 7th. I thought she had a very strong build, but I think she ran into people playing more traditional comps in terms of brawler blasters, and the void comp doesn't work as well against that stuff. That's kind of why we saw it fall off.
Yeah,
So
everyone dropped out within rounds of each other, so it was very, very quick.
yeah, for sure. So possible addition of Wukong, although he's also just kind of holding these to try to find a Jinx 3 as well.
Yeah,
Kiyoon. Oh, he's got the demo charge on the Kaisa. That's a strong mech board.
Yeah, his mech has all the ideal items, and so does his Kaisa, and it's going to be very, very scary.
Hmm. Uh-oh.
Well, this is not a good matchup for him.
It might be a little bit rough. We'll see. Now, the Jinx, I feel like he wanted to move the Jinx onto the Blitzcrank, but didn't end up going there. Here comes the ultimate. There's the mech doing a lot of damage, and yeah, Jinx not surviving. Khroen, is he out? Oh, just survives a 2 HP. Kiyoon with 2 HP as well. So it's Kurum and Shendu, the top in life right now, but Kurum just lost his round actually. So Shendu really making a run at first here.
Does he want? Yeah, he's gonna put in this.
It's always going to be a better choice in the Graves in the late game. So yeah, you might as well. What's the positioning going to be?
Well, he's not getting Kiyoon again, so Shendu or Kurum.
Yeah. Yep, that's right. So just puts Jinx in a more protected area. Theoretically, he runs into Kurum X. Kurum looks like he's gone for a bit of a Chrono Blade Master action here. Or is that Cybernetics, actually? No, he is running Blade Master.
There's a little bit of cybernetic in there.
Yeah. 3 Cybernetics is pretty popular these days. Now Khroen runs for the hills, trying to attain a 3rd place. But oh, Kiyoon dies just after him, so it's 4th for Khroen, 3rd for Kiyoon.
And as predicted, we do have Kurum and Shendu.
Yeah. Oh, Kiyoon's dead. We just saw that happen. So now Kurum versus Shendu for 1st place in lobby number 1. And let's check out this board. So it is 6 Blade Masters. I was wondering about that, actually. I didn't get to count them all during the last round, but this is another variation of the Xayah build that people are going into late game. We saw one example of this yesterday. I can't remember off the top of my head who played it. But
it was Becca. Becca played.
Was it Becca?
I don't think it was yesterday. Yeah. I know Becca played a Blade Master, 6 Blade Master games day 1, but
yeah, there was one person who played it yesterday as well. So, but that would not surprise me. Let's see if it's strong enough to take on Kurum here. I think it is. I think this build is extremely strong.
He does have the items on multiple Blade Masters. The optimal items on multiple Blade Masters, I mean.
Not even close. And Shendu will take 1st place in game number 1. Again, showing that adaptability. Finding a really, really good sort of a late game solution for the Xayah role start. So very cool to see Kurum take 2nd. But it is the player that we were saying, you know, looked like the strongest player coming into the finals, taking number 1 in the 1st game.
Yeah, definitely Shendu doing very, very well. Kurum actually was able to get a really nice streak going, and I think that actually enabled him to hold out with his HP all the way till the end.
Right.
Where Shendu was actually able to take down Kiyoon, where I don't think Kurum's comp would have been able to. And so Kurum was able to secure a 2nd place.
Yeah. Kiyoon and Khroen dying within milliseconds, excuse me, of each other. in that last, the end of that last game. Honglian bombing out in 8th, Becca soon behind in 7th, Inay all the way down in 6th, and Hudie just on the outside of the top 4 with his build. So 1 round down, 3 to go. And, it's only the first game, and I feel like we could still see things change quite a bit by the end. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of games where someone did really well in game one, and then next game they bombed out in eighth place. It could very, very well go the either way. It's just kind of, depending on what comp you're going, it's a real
Mhm.
big gamble often.
I'm also wondering, like what galaxies we're going to see today too, because that also affects things. And certain players are better on certain galaxies than other ones as well. Like I think with all the galaxies that are in the game right now, in order to really succeed at the highest level, you need to have extremely extensive knowledge of what compositions are stronger on what galaxies, because you do see pretty massive differences starting to emerge between the strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, and a lot of it is just like, hey, just adapt.
Yeah, just
Just
adapt, yeah.
adapt. Are those all spatulas? I can't
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah, our view is a little bit scuffed, but, it looks like it is all spatulas from what I can see.
Yeah, all
Indeed, and a
spatulas.
normal galaxy, but, about as normal as a galaxy can be with an all spatula start.
Well, Kiyoon is very happy from the get go. We already know that.
Seriously.
Already got that spatula for his demo spat for his
Yeah.
mech comp.
Uh, Becca possibly, happy as well with all the sorcerer builds she's been playing lately, getting a Star Guardian, a bangle, and being able to go 6 Sork, 6 Star Guardians at level 8 is pretty strong. So
Will
we'll see what people do with it. I actually love spatula starts because it's not like it was in set 2 where, the, spatula was good in a lot of different ways. I feel like in set 3, there's only a few, like, significantly strong directions you can go with the spatula.
Yeah, they
As far
definitely
as yeah.
you just have a spatula and it's like, do I want to
Mhm.
throw this in my comp or not?
I
And
guess,
then
I could maybe revise that a little bit now that Rebels is coming back up, and, because that is one more direction you could go with spatula that's strong, because previously in set 3, it was pretty much just, generally Demolitionist for the Mech Infiltrator and Star Guardian for the Star Guardian build, and then, to get 6 Orcs, and then it was also Dark Stars were kind of like the big 3. We're starting to see a couple other options. Protector Darius is strong in the Space Jam comp, and now that rebels are good again, obviously being able to turn like Kale into a rebel or GP into a rebel is pretty good. So maybe a few other options are emerging. So maybe I should kind of take back what I said about the spatula. Maybe there are more options now in the new 10.9 world we're living in.
yeah, definitely a lot more options now than before, especially because they added in the nine rebels, all the nine dark stars, the six protectors, all these variants.
Right.
Initially, those didn't exist, so there was really no point to continue building those. But now it is very useful.
We even saw Inay make it to 9 rebels yesterday. He ended up taking second in that game, so ended up working okay for him.
Yeah,
We've seen
nine
a couple
rebels
of
are
the
really
the
strong,
prestige
but
builds.
I definitely think there are stronger combinations, and due to the fact that nine rebels does require you to kind of end up clumped in a very big corner with nine rebels.
Yeah, you got to give up other synergies, and yeah, it's. I think 9 rebels is a little bit of a meme, but it's cool to actually see it happen in a game. It's certainly strong, but it may not be lobby winning in a lot of cases.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right, so just an early Vanguard start with the Fiora here. Looks like Shendu leaving himself open for cybernetics. Also has a couple parts of the Zaya roll on the left side there. Item wise, he's got a wide variety of directions he could go with these early items. So I think it's just kind of a game of sit and wait, see what 2 stars you hit, see what items you hit, see where you end up as far as the early record goes.
Yeah,
Kiyoon working
it's
Mech
really he's
Infiltrators.
just really trying to go wide here, trying to decide what he wants.
Yeah,
Obviously going to, pick up some of the mech items or units, just slow queuing down, as you can, just hold on to them if you need to.
right.
And see what we need to do.
Ooh.
Since right now, one of Sendu's biggest competition is going to be Kiyoon.
I did not think Kiyoon was going to win that round early on, but the Kaisa brought it back. There's a Graves too. That feels good. Graves 2, always one of the best early items you can fit in. So he didn't buy the Zaya yet. He knows if he wins the next round, he can sell his board to hit 10 gold. So we'll see who he matches up against. Scouting a little bit. Okay, looks like Zaya roll perhaps being built by Hudie. So might be contested there. And the Zaya build, the Zaya roll is if there's 3 people going for it, you're gonna have a really, really hard time finding your Zaya 3. If there's 2, it's gonna be tougher, but it's doable. So I think 2 is kind of the magic number where it's like if you've got the items, do you choose to go for it? You really need to do some scouting if you're gonna try hyper rolling.
Yeah, definitely. If you run into a hyper roll and if you try to hyper roll and you haven't scouted, you're very likely to run into a situation where everyone just hyper rolls the same exact comp and nobody hits anything. Someone who didn't participate just wins the game.
Right. There's a Zaya 2. All right. Nice. That is strong. Carousel positioning wise, looks like he might be kind of middle of the pack with that. He did not end up selling up to 10, actually. I was kind of wondering. I guess he lost that round, though, right? So, or no,
Yeah,
he won that round, actually. Interesting. I feel like, I feel like he wants to go to 10 gold here.
he's thinking. He's thinking what he wants to save.
Yeah, because the thing is the Fiora is good for cybernetics and for the early Zaya stuff. The Malphite is good for the early Brawler Blaster stuff if he gets weapons with that. So probably just gonna have to wait until after Carousel. He really wants to win this round, though. Putting the items on there. A little bit of crit for Zaya. Lucian is like, hey, what's up? Let me just stand next to you and shoot your friends. Oh, she finally had enough. Okay, so he's going to win this round. And there we go.
Yeah, he
Okay.
sells everything and keeps the Malphite.
Yeah, it's looking right now like the Malphite is a little bit tougher to find than the Jarvan is. He notices a Malphite 2. I think there might have been 2 Malphite 2s out there already. So going for the more likely hit. Honglian grabs a belt. I would imagine that might be a Brawler Blaster start then. Not a lot of other reasons to grab the belt. What's it going to be for Shendu, though? You can grab the
Looks like a
sword. I
BF
think
sword.
that's fine. Yeah, so that's Infinity Edge for Zaya now. So it looks like he is leaning towards that. The nice thing is that with Infinity Edge, if you don't 3-star the Zaya, she can kind of become an item holder for Aurelia later. So it's a pretty comfortable build to start out with, I would say.
Yeah, I think just building out Infinity Edge for Zaya just allows her to. Oh, never mind. Took the Zaya off.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Because you can always use Zaya as an item holder, especially with the build right now for something like Aurelia.
Wow,
If you
goes to
wanted
level
to move into
5.
cybernetics.
Huh. So he goes to level 5, which reduces his ability to find 1-cost units by 20%. So he may actually just be using the Zaya as a item carrier in the end after all, deciding
Yeah, it
maybe
looks
not
like
to hyper roll.
you could item carry her for Aurelia with the way he's gone right now. He has Leona 2,
Right?
Fiora 2, and so he could very easily get the move into level 7 or 8 and then get Aurelia, sell the
Yep.
Zaya, move all the items over, and they'll be perfect for her.
His gold's a bit
Definitely
low
looks like a
too,
cyber.
so I think it is time
The
to save
more I
it.
look at this, the more it looks like a cybernetic comp.
Yep, certainly could be. And that would make sense with the Aurelia. Let's move over and see what Inay is up to.
Well,
Inay,
he's
cybernetics, and
running
blaster.
cybernetics.
Yep, just a strong early game. Probably wants to. Well, I mean, he could really go either direction. Honestly, he's got a couple Malphites. Yeah, that is. I think this honestly, like what we see Shendu and Inay doing, is one of the best ways to just approach teamfight tactics in this patch right now. Like if you're maybe a newer player even and you want to learn ways to sort of climb the ladder, just learning cybernetics and brawler blasters and just focusing on that initially, I think is a really good way to approach the game because both of those comps are very good. They're very stable. They both have very strong early games, and you can transition from one to the other if you know what to look for. And it's always
Wow.
good to have more than one comp you know how to play, right? If you really want to climb the ladder. So watching what Inay is doing and what Shendu is doing this game, I think is a pretty good little lesson in just strong teamfight tactics fundamentals 101 and 10.9.
Yeah, definitely. You want to open yourself up to, I believe, two comps more or less, and when you're just trying to decide on what comp you want to go. As you hit late game, you narrow it down, and in this way, pretty much Ine is leaving himself open to do cybernetics or brawler blasters, but also is potentially looking to say if he focuses on cybernetics and then can't find the echo, he can also move into a kale comp.
Yep, that's true. He even has the ability to build a Rage Blade right now. Finds the Malphite too, and yeah, there's no need to really hold on to the Sonas anymore at this point. So some choices to be made here. He's got the early Kale. He doesn't really want to get rid of the Fiora 2 yet, I would imagine, since it is a 2-star, and that's still going to be useful, probably up through Carousel or so. For a little while longer before it starts to fall off. But yeah, Inay, 20 gold, doing okay on that front. A lot of good stuff on the board already. Good stuff on the bench. He kind of has a world of options right now. Hudie, though, going for the static Shiv Zaya opening. Interesting. He finds a force of nature as well. So a little bit of a numbers advantage going forward for Hudie in this game.
Yeah, it's gonna make a huge difference, especially with him going a reroll comp. If you have a force of nature and a reroll comp, it enables you just a lot more ability to do things that you wouldn't be able to do.
Hmm.
A lot more flexible.
Right. So no reason to sell the Leona right now because that you want to keep that opportunity to go cybernetics open. Builds a last whisper on Fiora. Okay. Doesn't really need a second red buff if he goes blasters, so those can be two other items like a GA and like a Zerat portal or something like that. Maybe a Zephyr or something.
Zephyr seems like a possibility.
Yep. He runs into Shendu's board, and Shendu is looking pretty strong as well. It's going to be close.
I
No
think
red buff
Shendu
for
will take
Shendu,
this
though.
one due to the fact that he does have a GA on the solution.
Yeah, it's looking like he's going to be able to just barely sneak out the win. He's on a pretty strong win streak right now as well. Kurumx, meanwhile, has not lost a single HP. Ooh, check it out. There's the Jinx. Okay, so I think that's your decision right there. You're going Brawler Blasters.
Yeah,
Yep,
he was already transitioning when he sold his Leona.
right.
That it seemed more like he wanted to go in the Brawler Blaster direction.
No,
Already
I love
built the
this.
Rebel.
Oh, I love this because Rebels is such a good little pocket sort of synergy to include as you're building up your Brawler Blaster comp. And being
Mhm.
able to just always have it because one of your other brawlers now is a Rebel is going to be so strong.
Yeah, you notice how he deliberately built that on the Vi to enable cybernetic buff as well.
Yep.
And so he likely will sell that. I feel like he will likely sell that Vi and move it to something else later. But it's also possible that he just leaves it on her.
I mean, yeah, if you're going Brawler Blasters, you're going to have that unit to the late game. And just positioning wise, having the Vi next to the Malphite in that position is usually just fine. I would say maybe if you transfer it to anyone, you'd transfer it to like the Blitzcrank or something because you generally want the Blitzcrank pulling things over near the Jinx.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
we'll see what the plan is. Inay has to wait until third pick on the carousel here.
Kiyoon going for demo spat. That demo spat is guaranteed now.
Khroen in fifth right now decides to grab the tier. So I wonder what build he's going for. You don't generally grab a tier unless you're going for some sort of sorcerer build. And he hasn't done a whole lot of that yet in this tournament. So Khroen possibly playing a little bit outside the box. Let's check it out. Let's see what he's doing. I'm curious now. Let's find out in just a moment. Okay, cool. So Ionic Spark on Vi as well.
Puts in a Poppy.
Hmm.
I guess you just put in a Poppy just because we needed we wanted to keep our unit count up.
Yep. It's just meat. Blitzcrank is also meat, but it's meat that grabs your opponent's carries and punches them into the air. So I do like that.
I mean, it also. I mean, he also gets the brawler buff, so it's nice.
Yep. A little bit more HP. All right. So Fiora does get Zephyred, but going to be able to do a lot of work with that last whisper here. Jinx is activated, and it looks like he's going to barely take this round. It was a little bit close. Honglian in a lot of trouble now, down to 45 HP already, contesting the Brawler Blasters, it looks like, and but he has about half the HP that Inay does.
Yeah, he's getting low really quickly, and really needs to find some ground. Particularly, I think for him, he just needs to get his Aurelia going.
Yeah. Kiyoon down at 56 HP, going for the Mech Infiltrator, but no real big concerns there. So many Mech Infiltrator players go down to sub 40 HP before really getting the mech online, and then you just win streak your way right back up again. So now on board with Khroen, so we'll get to see what he's working on. And it looks like it's going to be a Kale build, but he picks up the tier. Okay. Now the tier was on a Kale, so possibly just looking at getting a fast Kale 2 and building maybe like a static shiv or something like that at that point, since that is an item that Kale can use.
I think it's more looking towards a hand of justice. He just wanted
Oh
the
yeah,
Kale early, and then if he can get a hand of justice on her, would probably go that direction.
yeah, that's a good point too. I'm just a fan of static shiv, man. What can I say?
I mean, Shiv is great,
I
but
think it's a cool item.
I think one is not enough. You need more than one Shiv
Oh
when you
yeah,
get into
definitely.
late
I
game.
mean,
Otherwise, it just doesn't do anything.
yes. We'll see what he gets off the infiltrators. But yep, just a Kale comp. Would you prioritize Hand of Justice as a Kale player though? That surprises me a little bit.
No, I think he's probably just going to leave the tier and try to build the other items, and then just complete it later.
Right.
If he gets the items for it, sure, why not? Unfortunately, he has no items that actually go well with Kale right now.
Right. I'm just trying to find strong stuff to add in. Space Pirates with no items. I don't think that's it. There we go. I like the Mana Reaver. Can he find a way to get Celestial in there, maybe? He's got blasters. He does also have Force Cybernetic. So he's leaving himself open to go Cybernetics as well. In fact, that's probably the more likely scenario at this point.
Yeah, I think it's likely that he doesn't want to do anything with the Kale. He just has a Kale too.
Right.
And
Yep, exactly.
here you
Just,
get
just
your
wants
off
to
a little
streak.
bit earlier.
A rare occasion where a player will prioritize the champion over the item. And looks
I
like
think it's
he
fine
will
for
ruin.
4 cost units. And 4 and 5 cost units, I think it's fine. It's for 4 cost units getting it to 2-star. 5 costs for completing your comp, more or less.
Sure. For cybernetics, yeah, should be pretty strong. So, oh, there's the 3-star Zaya. Okay, so Hudie does manage to find the 3-star Zaya, and he's been on. He's really maintained his HP up to this point in the game as well. So, kind of taking a page out of Shendu's book to a certain extent. Soraka 2 already for Inay. That's interesting. And a
It's
Jinx 2.
interesting that he found that he's
Huh.
able to keep his HP up so long for Hudie for being able to keep his HP up so long, despite not having the Zaya 3 that most people are looking for whenever you're running that comp.
Yep,
For
I
the 5
suppose you can just kind of find other things to sort of just maintain and build a strong board while you wait. Wow, really easy round against Becca, it looks like.
Yeah,
Didn't even get
Khrone's
the
board
solution.
seems really strong.
Yeah.
Kiyoon down to 27 HP. He's looking a
Did
little
he
bit
not
dangerous.
find the fizz? We haven't seen his board in a little while.
I don't think he has a fizz.
That'd be very unfortunate for him. All right, scudding around a little bit. There's Shendu's board.
Oh, no,
There's
never mind.
King.
He has a fizz.
Yeah, he does. Yep. Got the demolitionist spat on Kaisa as well. So the board is starting to come together. It's just kind of that nerfed mech now that is causing a little bit of the problem. One thing you'll notice with Mech Infiltrator is that in the past, they would sneak by and win a couple mid-game, early late game rounds via the Fizz ultimate, because Fizz would pop out of the mech with a lot of mana already. And since none of the mech pilots emerge with mana after the mech dies anymore, you don't get that like guaranteed Fizz ultimate, which can turn some of those closer fights around and win some of those mid-game battles that you would be losing otherwise.
Yeah, Fizz really needs his ultimate to even be useful once he pops out of the mech, and if he doesn't have the mana to do it, then he just kind of flops.
He just pokes things and dies, right? So that is another kind of nerf to the Mech Infiltrator build, is just the lack of the Fizz ultimate power in the mid game. And you can see Kiyoon down to 27. So we'll see if he survives. Meanwhile, the carousel, Khroen waiting his turn. He'll be the next choice to go and find something. Shendu, mulling over his options, goes with the belt. Khroen immediately makes a beeline for the Negatron cloak, so probably a defensive item for him to finish right there. I'd imagine he's got a QSS to build somewhere. Let's find out what Hudie is up to right now. So Hudie just doing a bit of scouting while he's waiting for the carousel round, and he managed to grab a belt. Okay. Didn't really have a choice. Couldn't get to the chain vest in time, so belt it is for him. He's got another belt on the bench, I guess. So hooray, Warmogs. Or just save it. Finds Shendu. Nice.
I think Warmog is actually not bad on the Jarvan here, considering
Yeah.
he put a bramble vest on it. So
Yeah, it wouldn't be the worst thing ever. I think the thing that he's really missing on the Jarvan is some sort of AP item to improve the attack speed buff that he wants to give to his Kaisa. Or not
yeah,
Kaisa.
the core of it really is just if you throw any AP item on there, it scales so well. If you get
Yeah.
2 death caps on Jarvan, just the attack speed drop is just a lot. And you might as well have 6 chrono at that point.
Right. It's pretty insane. Oh, Jarvan drops pretty quickly, though. It's all about Xayah and her ability to carry here, and it looks like he's got enough.
Yeah, his Xayah's just. Ooh, wait,
Oh,
no.
maybe not. I spoke too soon. Aurelia had the GA, came back and won it. Looked
Yeah, if you
over.
look at the Xayah has a Giant Slayer and then for a single target and then a Shiv for AoE. So good to some extent, that's for sure. You just need some more units, I think, that are better at cleaning up.
Like a Caitlyn 3. I think that's a nice pickup there.
Help.
Yep. Caitlyn 3 will get the ult off, and she'll just pop one of the enemy champions and either take out a GA or just simply kill a carry or kill somebody, right? Because 3,000 damage is a lot. Runs into Becca's build. Becca going for, well, it looks like she's got a little bit of a Chrono Kale start here.
Yeah, you can see that Hudie is trying to go for Shen 3, Fiora 3 as well.
Yep. I like the early Thresh for Becca to be able to add in Mana Reaver, I believe, with the Cassidon that I think she had. And then just pulls strong stuff in like the Lulu. All right, let's actually check out Becca's board. For Chrono, like we imagined, then there's Mana Reaver, Celestial. So just a strong Kale comp, basically, is what it looks like. The early Thresh is a nice addition that a lot of times you don't get to add in until a little bit later in the game because of the 6% chance. But it certainly helps once you do it. And I like the adaptation to make Cassidon a Blade Master as well. That frees up a spot to add in another Chrono earlier, or in this case, keep your Leona in where normally you would need to take that out.
Yeah, I think she made that pretty early on. I think a lot of people also like outside of Cassidon, they like making Thresh a Blade Master due to the fact that Thresh attacks faster, you get more units.
Fair
And
enough.
just Blade Master Thresh is also applying Mana Reaver, much like Cassidon.
Oh no! She
A little
put
bit
the
too slow.
QSS on the Zephyr target slightly, a little bit on the late side. I love the reaction. She's like, "Oh no, what have I done?" Oh, but she still looks really strong. The misfortune doesn't hit the Caitlyn, or doesn't hit the Kale rather. So she
Yeah,
still
the
wins the
Kale
round, but
just
that's one of those
steamrolls the
ones where
whole
it's like,
comp.
yeah, that's one of those rounds where it's like nobody was watching that, right? Oh man, that's
I mean,
hilarious.
that's what happens when you're trying to move your move everything last minute. It's you have a very small window, and it's
Sure.
if you miss it, you look like a fool.
Well, I think it was a bit of like just not sure, where she wanted to put the QSS as well, and the Leona makes the most sense because it's going to get sold later probably.
Definitely.
So who's the
I
next
think the
opponent? Looks
Leona's
like it's
just
going to be
there for
Khroen.
Leona's just there for Vanguard, more or less.
Yep, pretty much. There to be Vanguard and hold items. Wow, Khroen's Kale got grabbed there. That could be very dangerous. In fact, it is. The
It
double
is.
Rage Blade Kale for Becca is going to be pretty hard to put down unless it stands in an MF2
Let's
ultimate.
MF2 just rolled right through everything.
Yep. Khroen finding a very early MF2.
I mean, I think he rolled down all his gold as well, so Khroen is out of money.
Still, though, that is a high roll to be at level 8 and find any 2-star 5 cost.
I believe he
Leona
got
gets
one.
sold?
He may have gotten some off the carousel. I could be wrong.
Yeah, possibly. I don't mind this Ionic Spark on Cassidon. It's also fine on Wukong, sure. Spread the items around a little bit. MF is in there now. I like that he's got the Lulu with the Chalice to ideally power up the MF a little bit more, and still a very healthy economy for Becca.
Yeah, if she loses one more round, she's going to roll down. Very likely. She does need. She's missing a lot of units that need to be level 2'd.
Yep, that
Oh
is true.
wow!
Oh
Jinx just
man,
one shot the Kale with a crit.
yeah. Kurumx does win that one pretty handily. Really good Jinx items, i.e., red buff and GA. Pretty close to ideal. So what does Becca grab?
Wow,
Probably some
so
MF.
many good items here.
Yeah,
GA, QSS, Trap Claw.
good defensive items. I kind of like the GA. And the thing is that even if you don't think GA is like the perfect item for your comp right then, just being able to deny a Guardian Angel from the rest of the lobby is still pretty solid. In this lobby is really close too. If you look at the difference between like 5th and 8th, it's all within 7 points, 7 HP of everyone else, and it's 5-4, and everyone's still alive too.
Yeah, 7 HP is basically one life if you're lucky. It's more or less. Oh, okay. She goes straight.
Hey,
Oh
Lulu too.
wow.
Wow, wow, that is strong. All right,
She's gonna throw and stuff. Oh,
jumps
okay.
up
Throws a
to
mystic.
yep. Soraka's a really nice pickup there. GA on the Wukong. Okay, so
On
just
the
really
Wukong, I'm
ensuring
not
that the
sure
Wukong
about
all
that
happens.
one actually, because
Well,
the thing with Wukong is if he dies while he's ulting, it just cancels his ult.
yeah, it seems like she just wants to guarantee him an ult at some point in the fight, and you did get a good one there.
Yeah, he did come back and ult, so that's good.
Yeah.
You just have to
Honglian
make. Oh,
first
she takes
to
out
lead in 8th.
Honglian going out in 8th again.
Inay in
Yeah, going
7th, just
as
dying
well.
slightly afterwards. So we lost 2, and we're on the verge of losing more. Kiyoon, though, is online. The mech board has come together. He's on a win streak now, despite being at 19 health. There's Wukong, too. That's certainly a nice upgrade for Becca.
Becca's sitting here. She just has only has a Thresh for her Thresh to pull.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Thresh isn't going to get much value here.
Yep. I mean, at least it'll hit things, I guess. But
Maybe you can throw in a Darius.
yeah, this is one of those rounds where you're just like, all right, it's not ideal, but I'm building towards a better future, all right?
Yeah.
I think the Lulu, too, is going to be very valuable. She manages to move out of the way of the infiltrators as well.
Yeah, the Lulu 2 is going to help a lot right here if he gets it on the Kaisa. Yep, it's on the Kaisa.
Yep, not a lot of targets left. That
Kaisa's
Lulu
going to
2 is
go
helping
down.
everybody. Oh, Kale! Can
Unfortunately,
Kale live? Celestial buff. Fizzle, no! Oh, wow. All right.
no, Wait, the GA.
Wukong just
Kong's
walks
coming
in.
back and he's spinning.
Yep. MF. Becca can't believe it. Wukong too, coming up clutch. And now she's got a good board to pull in with the Thresh. Rapid fire cannon is probably a pretty decent addition for the Misfortune.
Yeah, I think GA on Wukong 2 is really good. GA on Wukong 1 not so much, but on Wukong 2 definitely will guarantee get a good ult off with
Yeah.
the way it is.
Becca's seeing the big picture, knowing she'll get a Wukong 2 at some point. And when she does, she'll be happy that item's on him. Just like that round last round, I guess. Just like that round last round. All right, that's a sentence. And I'm sticking to it.
All right, who's she gonna put the rapid fire cannon on?
You would guess the itemization priority would be Misfortune, even though RFC is not the greatest item for an MF. Lulu would ult slightly quicker, so that's also a possibility, I suppose. But yeah, MF would generally be the priority, so that's not a big
I
surprise
think
there.
it's good because it keeps with those combination of items, MF will not move, and that will give her the perfect angle for an ultimate.
Right. Yep, that's right. QSS keeps her from being pulled, so she can put her in the corner as well. And here we go. Aurelia trying to get to the back lines. That infiltrator spat is dangerous. Does Lulu go down before casting the ultimate? Oh, the ultimate comes off just in time. And
Well,
that Lulu too, man.
Shendu will go down.
Yeah, Shendu out at 6th and Kurum out at 5th as well. Becca making a run for the top 4.
Wow. You saw Kurum, Shendu, and Inay do fairly well last game, and then this game going out in bottom 4.
Yeah. So Shendu first in game number 1, 6th in game number 2. Becca, meanwhile, 7th in game number 1, and she is going to for sure place top 4 here. To me, the biggest star on that board right now is a Lulu 2. I think Lulu 2 doesn't get enough credit in a lot of these late game situations, but that polymorph is straight up winning a lot of rounds for Becca. Another one comes in, and again, just the way the board is working, the Lulu ultimate polymorphs, then the MFL comes through. And despite the Ash Arrow hitting the Kale, that's going to be another easy win for Becca. And she may be on track for even a top 3 here, top 2.
Wow, Hudie is surviving with 1 HP. It was very, very close.
Yeah. All right. And who else is surviving? Khroen is still up there. Kiyoon as well, the strong Mech Infiltrator board.
You can see Becca really considering, does she want to sell things out for more waves?
Mm-hmm. So here's the scary thing, right? Is that Kiyoon took 3rd in the first game, and now he's guaranteed a top 4 in the second game. And it's the consistency of uncontested Mech Infiltrator that is starting to make a pretty solid run at an overall victory here. On board with Hudie, as he has just 1 HP remaining.
He does manage to dodge all the infiltrators for this round, so if he can kill the mech, I don't think that he can. This really depends on the Xayah. What is this? Oh no, Xayah's dead.
Yeah, that was even a
Becca
best case scenario fight for him because the first Kaisa ultimate was delayed for a long time. Becca out as well, but she manages to sneak into 3rd. So a good amount of points for that. Comes down to Kiyoon and Khroen. Kiyoon with that extremely strong Mech Infiltrator build. And oh boy, my Mech Infiltrator champion senses are tingling, Yuuj.
Oh no, we're gonna have another. Are we gonna have another mech infiltrator win?
It's so really the problem isn't the mech anymore, it's the Kaisa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kaisa being the almost one of the only units that were not nerfed. That's nerfed this last patch.
Right. Mech Infiltrator is such a strange build as we watch this round go down, see who takes it. This is going to be the last round of game number 2. Kaisa getting a lot of good ultimates, and yep, Kiyoon looks like he's going to take it. That is it, man. And Kiyoon manages to take first with Mech Infiltrator in map number 2. Strong start for him so far. 3rd place and 1st place. Definitely going to be our lobby leader after that.
Yeah, definitely. Kiyoon, your unstoppable mech god, will continue his reign of terror
Mm.
using Mech Infiltrator. Kaisa with her demo spat, getting it really, really early due to the fact of a spatula carousel in the very beginning.
So as I was saying before the game ended, Mech Infiltrator is such a unique build in that pretty much all other builds in the game, if someone else is contesting you and you play it well, you've still got a pretty good chance at hitting a top four, right? Whereas Mech Infiltrator is either all or nothing. You're pretty much never going to see two Mech Infiltrator players in the top four, right? One is going to be way at the top, and the other one will be way at the bottom, or they'll just both be way at the bottom. So if you nerf Kaisa, then Mech Infiltrator maybe just becomes unplayable, even if it is uncontested. But as a way it is now, you can't contest it, but if it is uncontested, it will go first. So it's just such a weird place in set three right now, and I'm not sure really how you solve it because you can't really nerf the mech much more than it is. And nerfing Kaisa might be the answer, but the problem is infiltrators really aren't a synergy that works with anything else right now. So I don't know. Everyone's having a lot of conversations about it. Not much more to say about that at the moment. But here's our results so far. Any surprises jump out to you, Yuuj?
Not particularly. I do am a little bit surprised with Honglian being at the very bottom with 2 points. However,
Ooh, 8.
he does seem to be having some technical difficulties on his end right now.
Hmm.
Um, and so it it can be very, very frustrating. So it's understandable that as a result, when everything is so competitive, just these issues can cause the biggest difference to just tilt you and then make you unable to perform where you really normally would be performing.
Sure. And if you think about the builds that he's been fielding, he hasn't had like exceptionally weak early games and mid games. I think it just seems like some lobby scouting issues, possibly, maybe not hitting the right items at the right time, but we'll see if he can bounce back. Yeah.
Yeah, he
But
definitely will. It's just kind of that small issue.
that's right. So, on that note, 2 games down, 2 games to go here at the Starside Invitational to decide who our champion will be. I believe we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we will see the conclusion of the first ever Starside Invitational, China versus North America. Who's going to take it? Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody, to the Starside Invitational. We have two more games to go before we crown our champion. 16 players came into this thing, 8 players from China, 8 players from North America. And now we have the final 8, 5 NA, 3 China. And it has been quite the affair so far. We did have Mech Infiltrator crush game 2. Kiyoon just me meching it, and we'll see if that holds through. But we do have other players like Khroen and Shendu close behind. Let's take a look at the scores just to review that. Obviously, Kiyoon playing very well so far with a 3rd place and a 1st place. But Yuuj, tell me, what can people do to turn this around to possibly give not Mech a victory in a tournament?
Well, you see, a lot of the problem is that Kiyoon is getting uncontested mech, and more and more people are going to just, I believe, throughout this rest of the series, people are going to start holding onto his mech units a lot more. They already know he's in 1st place, and
Mhm.
so the more people who hold onto his mech units and just mark Kiyoon, he's not going to get those. As long as it doesn't break their economy, I think everyone is probably willing to sacrifice if ever the opportunity to win. If everyone sacrifices 10 gold, one
Uh-huh.
extra gold per round,
Just a
Kiyoon
10
can be
gold
stopped.
contribution, and you
Yes,
can help prevent Mech from winning another tournament. It's like a charity
yes,
drive now where everyone's just giving a little bit of gold to prevent Mech from winning.
yes. You've
But
got to. Everyone has to pitch in.
yeah, it's
Together we can stop this terror known as Mech Infiltrator.
that's right. Do your part. But it's it's a frustrating situation in the meta for a lot of people, but I think it's also a really fascinating thing to look at in terms of how synergies work in general in TFT and look at the way that the game can be balanced. Because Mech Infiltrator is in such a unique position in that there's no other comp in the game that if it's uncontested, it's insanely strong. And if it is contested, it's insanely weak. Generally, all the other comps in the game are somewhere between those two ends of the bell curve as far as when people contest them, right? If you look at other things like Dark Stars or Cybernetics or Brawler Blaster, right? If someone else contests you, it's not the end of the world, right? Like it is with Mech. Then there's the other aspect to it as we go into the 3rd lobby on board with Kiyoon. The other aspect to it is that infiltrators don't really work in any other composition, and Mech doesn't really work in any other composition right now. So there's something about those two synergies and the way that they work together that makes those synergies exclusive to each other in one comp right now. So as far as ways to possibly fix this, I don't want to see it necessarily nerfed into oblivion, but I think maybe finding some way, and this might take some theory crafting and some experimentation from the community and the pro players, right? To make infiltrators work in other comps or to make the mech work in other comps as well. So we'll see. I feel like there's an answer, but it's a really tricky one, and it's a situation we've never had before in TFT. And as annoying as this sometimes, I also find it extremely fascinating.
Yeah, you're kind of stuck with the mech. You either do mech infiltrators or mech sorks due to those being the only synergies with the mech
Right.
units. And so you have is you basically choose one of those. Except the problem with mech sorks is your sorks just can't do enough damage during the time where the mech is out.
Right. I think that's
You lose
maybe
this mech infiltrator.
I think that's maybe the problem, right? Because if you look at the third synergy, which is demolitionist on Rumble, that's very, very limited. There's not like a 2 demolitionists, 4 demolitionists. It's not really a synergy you build around generally. It's just a flavor kind of thing. So, I am really curious if there's something else that can be done. Maybe for the first time, synergies need to change on some champions. That's something that I don't recall has ever happened before in TFT. I might just be forgetting if it did, but I don't think it has. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing to do if it does solve a major issue with a set. So, you know, I'm curious to see what they're going to do about it.
It definitely hasn't happened during a set. I mean, in a different set, synergies have changed.
Mhm.
However, during the set, not so much. You saw Kiyoon right there already get 2 of his infiltrators from the get go, so
Yeah.
he is already set up for a decent mech game, and
Yep.
he gets the Shaco. Wow.
And we've got a normal galaxy as well. Doesn't really need the Shaco right now. You can always find one of those later, but the economy is a little bit more important.
He is
The
already
big
set
change for
up.
Mech recently is that Infiltrators is a better synergy in the early game because of the buffs to Kha'Zix. So in the very, very early game, 2 Infiltrator is not as bad as it was for a long time.
Yeah, definitely with those changes, it really has helped a lot. One thing though is Kiyoon did sell his Shaco that he got really, really early. He doesn't plan on using it at all
Yeah, you
since
definitely don't need it right now.
you don't need it right now, especially because you can't get 4 Infiltrator for a very long time. And Shaco is just after continuous nerfs, he's not that useful anyways. You're not going to 2-star him, you might as well sell him for the eco.
Right, a Shaco one's not going to give you a whole lot. So, so what I think of, when I see the situation is back in like the mid 2000s in StarCraft One, there was a situation where one of the races was just considered basically unbeatable, and games just didn't get patched back then, right? Patches
Yeah,
were like years apart. So the idea of like crying to a developer for balance changes just wasn't something people thought about back then, really. You just kind of figured it out, right? So there was this massive, like a industrial professional scene in Korea, right? Where there were people making a living playing this game, big tournaments with big prize pools, and there was this perceived balance issue. And eventually, a player cracked it. A player figured out a way to play their chosen race in a way that was really good into the thing that was considered unbeatable. And then that unlocked the door for other strategies to come in and build off of that. And the game balance kind of shifted back and forth based around player creativity and changes in terms of play styles rather than balance changes from developers. So just because something seems unbeatable doesn't mean there isn't an answer out there, and I'd love to think in a game as deep and diverse as TFT that there is a way out there for players to kind of like uh, work around this. I don't know if there is, but I kind of like to approach it from that attitude rather than I'm just going to be upset until the developer makes a change.
yeah, definitely the more variables there are in a game, the more solutions you have.
Right, and
So
TFT has a ton of variables to consider.
exactly.
So back to the game at hand. Kiyoon still on board with him. Doing the Mech Infiltrator thing. Not a whole lot to see there, unless you're curious about how to go Mech Infiltrators earlier. The answer is generally a tanky front line and pretty much anything, honestly. Like you just pick up a couple of the early infiltrators on the side, and then you just play a strong board, and that's how you go Mech Infiltrator right now.
Yeah, so generally a lot of what it is done is you just play a strong board. You can technically just get some vanguards, and for your vanguards, you just stack. You either get vanguards or brawlers, and you just stack mech items on your vanguards or brawlers. While
Right.
you on your DPS characters, you stack items that you eventually want to put on your DPS characters.
Yep. So Honglian taking a loss there, losing a bit of HP. Kurum down to 80 early, so losing a lot of HP early here. Let's check out Shendu versus Hudie here. Shendu looks like he's going for possibly a brawler start. He has a Xayah, but he elected to build an early red buff on her, which is not an item you typically see on Xayah. She doesn't benefit that much from it since she attacks so quickly anyway, that the burn doesn't end up mattering a whole lot. But it is a great item to transfer onto like a Lucian or a Jinx later.
Yeah, I definitely think the Zaya's item in this case, since she's holding the red buff.
Right.
A lot of times people like to put Giant Slayer or Red Buff as on her just as like an item hold, and so moving it over to a blaster as soon as you can is obviously preferable.
Hmm.
It's better than throwing it on Graves or something.
So we're gonna move over and see what Shendu is up to now, and he's just doing a little bit more scouting, as you often do during carousel rounds. If you're not scouting during carousel rounds, by the way, what's wrong with you? Come on, if you want to get better at TFT, get scouting.
I mean, you have
So
nothing to do. You have 10 seconds. Like you
yeah,
get your carousel item, and then you have at least 5 to 10 seconds where you're just standing there.
what do you
So
do? Thinking about how awesome you are because you've got a Lucian 2 with a red buff? No, you're scouting. You're thinking about the future.
exactly.
So it's going to be Vanguard Cybernetic for Shendu early on. Very strong Cybernetic start, especially with that Lucian with the red buff. You can see he already moved it off of the Xayah. And so looking at Kiyoon's board right now, And Kiyoon, he's still got the mech. He's still got the mech units. He's planning on transitioning into mech later. Don't be fooled. Meanwhile, Khroen does have the. He's got the Xayah too, and he's got the Last Whisper. So it looks like he might be going Xayah roll this game.
Unfortunately, Shendu has a way stronger comp right now. That Lucian 2 with a red buff. Ooh,
Yep.
so much damage.
Yeah, Khroen, his board not losing by that much, which is good. Gets to preserve some HP. I think Shendu kind of thinking about what he wants his comp to be. He can go a couple different directions from this. Red buff is usually a hallmark of Brawler Blaster, but there's no saying that you can't use it in other comps as well, like Cybernetics or something like that. Obviously, it's still good on Lucian if you just go that way. I like the little adaptation of throwing the Soraka in there as well. Staying at 10 gold, but just giving his team that heal. He really wants to sustain. And that Soraka heal this early in the game at 2-6 is going to make a big difference.
It just has to do with the fact that it's probably this. It is his strongest board at that point. Nothing else he can put in is going to help as much as that Soraka.
Oh boy,
Unfortunately,
here comes Darius. Oh, if he kills the Darius. Oh, all right. If he kills the Ziggs. All right. If he kills the Malphite. Run, Lucian, run. Oh my
Malphite
God.
does
No,
do a lot
there's
of
no chance.
damage, though.
Oh my gosh, there's a chance. No, there's no chance. That was close.
Yeah, Malphite smacks pretty hard.
Well, Lucian 2 with the red buff is so strong. All right. Does he need to go? He's already level 5, so he's fine there.
I'm imagining Mana Printer Rebels now.
I mean,
not that good, but they do have.
Yeah, that wouldn't really help you with Rebels.
Sona already well on the way, so you can shift that.
Yeah.
Rebels are just temporary.
All right, so let's see what items Shendu gets off of the Terror Bursters here. Gold, nice. I mean, honestly, like, I'm never that sad to get gold, especially in a situation like his where he's got a lot of strong items already. There's a Giant Slayer, which is pretty sick. Could also build the Rage Blade, but Giant Slayer red buff is an extremely strong Brawler Blaster item combination. Now he's got the Blitzcrank as well. So it seems like that's the direction the game is directing him to go right now.
However, he still needs his Malphite, and so that's the biggest issue. Malphite is gonna be progressively harder to find if he doesn't get lucky and finds it soon.
Right.
He also can't move the items until he actually finds Jinx, which I believe is what he's waiting for before he sells his Fiora.
Yep, I would say so. We do see a lot of Brawler Blaster players just sit on the Cybernetic start for like a long time in the game as well.
Yeah, and some even keeping the Cybernetics.
Yeah.
As in the late game.
Right. And I mean, he still can transition into Cybernetics, right? Like he hasn't like signed a Brawlers only contract or anything at this point.
How do you know?
It's just looking like Brawlers is the more likely direction right now. But I would say it's like a 70-30 Brawlers to Cybernetics, right? And then maybe like I'm going to throw an extra 5% chance of like Chrono Kale. We're going to go to 105% in terms of chances on this.
It just looks more and more up. It's a Brawlers Blaster game. It's already been decided.
Yeah.
Contract
game. Yeah, exactly. Let's see what Becca's up to. She is going Chrono Brawler right now. So just trying to play some good stuff. Got a lot of items on TF that are eventually going to end up on a Kale probably.
Definitely looks like Kale items to me.
Yep. Running into that Xayah from Hudie. And that Xayah is doing a lot of damage. Oh boy. And that's and she does see that Hudie has the Kale that she wants right now. Super early. That's gotta hurt. Don't you hate that when you're going for a comp and then somebody just like gets the forecast early that you're looking for? You're like, you don't deserve that. I've been preparing for this all game.
Yeah, they just have a just regular version of it, just completely naked, no items on it.
Whoa.
Just waiting.
Hey, this is a family game, man.
Oh, okay, I guess.
Itemless.
Itemless. Okay.
Right. It's too late. I've seen everything. Wow, that was a Xayah 3 actually. So somebody has hit the ultimate Pikachu there. Kurumx looks like he's got a bit of a chrono start himself, and he's augmenting the Jinx. Rebels start to keep the Jinx pretty powerful. Infinity Edge and red buff is a nice start. Very nice start. And unfortunate thing for Becca right now is that the board that she has has outlived its usefulness. The strength that it had in like late round 2, early round 3 is pretty much gone at this point. And so she needs to find a way to transition this into a stronger set of synergies and a stronger set of units as well. Now, if she goes Dark Stars, picking up that Jin may not be a terrible idea. See what she goes with, though. All right, it's going to be Aurelia, focusing on the Blade Master plan.
I know she definitely wanted that Kale, but
I was just wondering for a moment if she was
taking her, and she was just laughing. No, I want my Kale.
Yeah. You know, with the second choice, you're kind of at the mercy of whoever at the bottom of the lobby wants. I was kind of wondering for a second if the Jin would be a possibility because she was picking up a couple Dark Stars on her bench if you look at the right side. So she was thinking, well, maybe I can find like a sniper's option because I've already got the Caitlyn 2.
Could be possible. Definitely.
And she sells the Aurelia and finds the Ashe. So I would consider she's got 2 chrono in there already. But she's going to keep the TF. Okay.
Yeah, she wants the 4 chrono.
Yeah, I suppose. I suppose that is something. Doesn't want to steal the Fizz to deny Kiyoon. Too late anyway, I suppose. He's got the mech, obviously.
He's got the mech. No point at this point.
Yep. Mech with a Bramble Vest. All you need. Early on, anyway. Celebratory Fizz ult at the end.
Yeah, Kiyoon is well on his way to winning this game. He is very healthy and has a lot of gold to work with his roles. As long as he gets mediocre RNG, he should be fine in terms of just hitting his units, getting capped out.
That's the scariest thing, isn't it? Like normally Mech Infiltrator players end up losing a lot of HP to get to where they can start win streaking with the mech, but Kiyoon getting things going early, 89 HP, and already has the mech, so good luck, world.
Yeah, he's definitely.
Well, hey, there you go. There's your Mana Printer Rebels build. You requested this, you know. Look at what you've done.
I know.
Poor Honglian. And he's actually going to win this round. All right. It's a lot of healing, I guess.
It's working.
Well, it's something.
It's working for now.
Yeah, you got to find some other units to move. I
definitely think it's not a long-term thing. It's more of a transitional phase.
Yeah.
Yep, you already see Becca. Everyone's doing their job to stop the infiltrators. She's got the infiltrators on her bench.
Right.
Yeah, everyone's got to pitch in.
She's trying. Do your part. That's just 5 gold. A 5 gold donation to your bench can prevent Kiyoon from winning the lobby. Yeah. There's Master Yi. All right, so she can build a Guardian Angel. That's good. She can build an RFC as well. She can also build something like a Static Shiv. So she's got a good amount of good item options here. Find Celestial with the Xayah. Yeah, just toss a GA on Malphite for now, I suppose.
She basically has perfect items for Kale right now. She can build a rapid fire cannon with Rage Blade and Trap Claw as soon as she gets it, but she needs to get it.
Yeah. That's the thing, is finding the Kale, and it's still only a 15% chance at level 7, so it always feels like you do need to high roll a little bit. That's a pretty stacked TF, and he got a good ultimate there, so she might be okay, but that Xayah is gonna die. Okay, she's fine.
Caitlyn.
Wow.
Dreams shattered.
Yeah, well, the combination of a few extra little item completions and adding in snipers has managed, and things like the Shendu and Celestial, she's managed to kind of take this board to the next step. So she may have bought herself a little bit of time until like towards the end of round 4, basically. So for now, let's move over to see what Hudie is up to on his board right now. He does have the Kale and does have a bit of a Chrono start as well.
Interesting. He does not. He has a Kale, but he has no Kale items, and his items are very. I feel like he wants to go Brawler Blasters.
Yeah, they're very Brawler Blastery in terms of the red buff. And yeah, GA can go anywhere, but yeah, the red buff is a big one. He could also build an Infinity Edge as well. But choosing not to do that just yet, he's going to run into Honglian and his Mana Printer Rebels build. Heal Printer. Healer Master. Wow. And now he's got a Kale with items. So this is starting to get a little bit scary here.
The fact that Honglian has a Kale with items and then nobody else, everyone else is trying to find a Kale. There are at least 2 or 3 other people with looking for Kales right now, and Honglian has a Kale too. It makes it very bad for everyone else, that's for sure. Oh, look at all those infiltrators. I know you want to buy them.
Make the donation. Support the cause.
Support the cause.
Yeah. Sells the Jin. There's a Jinx. So if he really does want to go Brawler Blaster, here's his opportunity.
He's doing it.
He is doing it. Yep.
Was unable to move units fast enough.
Yeah. It's a Poppy too. So we've seen plenty of instances before where players will just play 4 blasters and count on a different front line while they find their 2-star brawlers. And that might just be the case here. GA coming up big, and that might be enough. Oh, so close. The Lucian just
bad for Huya, though, because he does have a loss streak. So
yeah.
Losing the 1 unit with a loss streak is the best you can hope for.
Yep, very true. Still 68 HP, so he's pretty healthy as well. Kurum grabs the bow. Honglian, see what he's looking for. Inay
here for his mana printer.
Yep. He's going to have the double chalice Seraph's Sona. So that is the theoretically that is the ideal mana printer items.
Yes. Gotta make sure the printer doesn't jam.
She's an Industria mana printer now. Industria, which is not a word, but it sounds like a cool band name though. Wow. Like a metal band called Industria.
Randomly getting Echo 2 just because.
Yeah. Why not, you know?
He probably isn't going to keep it very long, but just
I don't think so. And you're not really keeping it from Kiyoon because Kiyoon definitely doesn't really need the Echo, so that's gold. All right, red buff, and then probably the GA on Jinx. Yep. And then the Infinity Edge, I think, would be fine. He puts the GA on Poppy instead, actually.
Oh, no.
Interesting.
Oh, he's putting everything on Poppy because he plans on selling her. Got it.
He will, and so the idea there, I think the thought process there is like he knows nothing is going to jump into the back and kill the Jin in that particular round. So why not put the GA on your front line and keep Jin shooting a little, or keep Jinx rather shooting a little bit more? Put the GA on her later. So I think for that particular round, that was the right decision, even though it didn't work out for him.
Well, now he has a random Jin 2, not Jin, Echo 2. If he wants, if he wants
red buff. Is there a way to go cybernetics out of this? Because
yes,
too with the red buff and GA, it seems really
cybernetics. You can do cybernetics Brawler Blaster.
Yeah, or
Aurelia.
Yeah, so he keeps trying to move the GA around onto people that are going to die earlier to protect that front line. Echo right now only has the rod.
He still does a lot of damage.
He does, but it's not going to win rounds until you put some like real items on Echo.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit confused, and I think Hudie is a little bit as well in terms of what does he really want to go with here. I think you could certainly go for some sort of cybernetics hybrid build right now. You'd
It
have to
definitely
give up
feels like
Brawler Blaster though.
definitely feels like he just kind of baited himself with the echo.
Yeah, I think he might have. I think if you're not willing to commit items to the Echo, then don't buy it, you know? And even if you are willing to commit items to the Echo, it's like you said, where, it might be a little bit too late to put together a comp that really supports it.
He has to go to 9 to have a comp that supports it, but that's pretty much the only way, or unless he's just trying to grab,
Yeah.
potentially no.
Well, let's see. Doing some rolling way, way down right now. Really trying to find that Cho'Gath 2. No.
He needed that. He definitely needs that.
Yes. Okay,
He's trying to make sure
cybernetics.
he has cybernetic, otherwise, what's the point?
I suppose. Last Whisper Aurelia and Bloodthirster as well. Okay.
Bloodthirster
Nope, he
came
died.
too late, but
A little bit too late there. I think it's all kind of falling apart a little bit for Hudie right now, unfortunately.
yeah, I think he confused himself.
Yeah, it's not looking good. I think oh no. Oh no, he's selling his Cho'Gath now. Oh, all right. Well, we're gonna check in with Khroen and see what he's up to. Hudie seems to be unfortunately kind of spiraling out of control with this comp. Meanwhile, things looking quite a bit better for Khroen. Three ballers, three blasters. Probably wants to swap that out. There we go. Four brawlers, and he's got a strong, durable rebel core for this. So you don't necessarily need the four brawlers just yet.
He has 2 redemptions. He's trying to figure out who's gonna die, so he needs to put it on it.
Yeah, he did manage to use that to give a nice heal for his team. So really good item usage there, and that helped win him that round. Kurum, that is. Not Khroen. I thought I heard Khroen, but we're looking at Kurum.
Yeah, he was definitely just, "Okay, who's gonna die? I need to be very ready to
Right.
switch."
Hmm. And so he's wondering if the four brawlers is going to be stronger than the three rebel core. And I kind of like the decision to stick with the rebels at this point over the four brawlers. The reason being is that a single Cho'Gath one, even with the four brawler buff to HP, is probably not going to be quite as strong as what a 2-star Sona is going to give you, and the extra shield on the Malphite, and the extra attack damage and shield on the Jhin. So I think for now, at this moment, that's probably stronger. Maybe he just keeps this and goes to 9 before he adds in the brawler.
Oh, unfortunately,
Oh boy.
the Shaco got straight onto the Jinx, and that just caused him to lose the fight very, very hard.
Yeah, and you know what groups of rebels are really not great into is mech ultimates. So
Yep.
kind of a rough luck to hit the Mech Infiltrator player to hit Kiyoon right there, who's number one in the lobby right now. Um, and that is a good reason to swap over to perhaps a slightly weaker front line with a Cho'Gath one. But there's only one player in the lobby that's really going to be able to exploit the rebels like that. So he's got some breathing room now, at least.
Yeah, it's a really close lobby right now. Everyone's starting to fall off very quickly in the bottom 5,
Right.
and even like the bottom 6, there's a huge gap between second and third, and so things are gonna start escalating very quickly. If you likely see some of these players dropping off before we even make it to the end of stage 5.
Yeah. And Shendu, the great hope for China, perhaps in the top 8, is looking like he is in for a very rough result this game. There's a Cho'Gath too. So now you make the change. I think here's where you put the brawlers in. Right?
He might just take one of the blasters out.
Yeah, I mean an MF1 without items is not going to be super strong, so I could see that. And he's going to go for Lulu. Okay.
Yeah,
So
so he's
yeah,
going for
all right.
the blaster variation. I think
Yeah, get
that's the
the
best choice you can make right now.
right. Seems strong. Zephyr. Yeah, it's going to save those items, perhaps. Luden's onto Lulu. Uses
It's
the mana to make sure she gets the ultimate off. But we'll see. Becca's got a Dark Star composition put together here. And despite that, the Xerath not quite strong enough to win it. Another Lulu ultimate, and oh, Becca nearly eliminated, down to 1 HP. Shendu actually did win his round, so he is still alive for now.
Yeah, 1
I think
3
Kurum is. Oh, go ahead.
1 3 8 9. Everyone's dying very, very quickly.
Well, look at the hit points between third and 8. It's so close. And then look at between second and third, there's a 10 HP difference. And then between second and first, there's a 30 HP difference. Kiyoon is almost certainly winning this game.
Yeah, everyone's rolling down trying to get their units right now.
Yeah.
Like I said, you all got to do your part to stop the mech. If you don't do your part, he's going to run rampant.
Perhaps. Honglian has the Rebels going here, along with the Kale Carry, MF. That Valkyrie buff, pretty good. The Aurelian Soul pretty much untouched. And Sona v Sona, but one of those Sonas has a lot of items and a lot of healing. So Kurum takes a big hit, down to 6 HP. We have 4 players, 5 players below 10 health right now.
Shendu took down Kiyoon.
Well, that's big. We need that. We need you, Shendu, now more than ever.
We take those.
You know, the thing is that it may not even matter, right? Because Kiyoon is still almost certainly going to finish in the top 4. That's going to be 3 top 4 finishes for him. So he is going to have a lot of points at the end of this, no matter what.
It's all going to be the goal is going to be take down Kiyoon, get him in 8th place.
Yeah, Kiyoon is the player to beat right now. Let's see what everybody else is getting out of Kane for this round. It's a locket for Kurum. And so that's something with the Rebel Core, with the build that he's using, he can get some use out of. Power up the brawlers. He's got a lot of healing actually with the double redemption too. So, what is he really looking for here? The rolling down is finished. Yep, just powering up the brawlers a bit.
Yeah, Kurum's combo actually has a lot of healing in it, just with these redemptions and the Sona.
Yeah.
If he's able to get the damage spread a little, the redemptions are going to do are going to be very helpful for keeping him alive.
I like the little adaptations, putting the vulnerable characters like Lulu in the back to try to survive and maybe get the Lulu ultimate off on the Aurelia before she gets into your backline. Aurelia gets ulted. Oh, Lulu saves the day. And Hudie out. He will not survive this. Shendu, yeah, you're right, down. Oh, man. All right, so top 4. Hudie and Shendu exit that round. Shendu with a 6th place finish. So pretty much out of contention, most likely to win this thing. And now it comes down to some pretty strong boards here. Khroen, Honglian, Kurum, and Kiyoon. Still at 52 HP with no Demolitionist spat, but a very, very strong mech board nonetheless. Here we go. That is a strong, strong mech.
Kurum does have the perfect positioning for this, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be enough. Hopefully, these Lulu's CCs will.
It's a bit tough to say.
Nope, not
Kurum
enough.
eliminated. Well, there you go.
It does finish 3rd place. Drops to and right before.
Yeah. So Honglian versus Kiyoon, who just hit the Annie 3 now.
He does
So
have
Rebels
on Aurelian Soul, but it is only level 1, so unfortunately.
Yeah.
Depends if he can hit the Kale 3 or Aurelian Soul 2.
Yeah. I would sell that stuff. He's got a couple lives.
He's got 1 life. Or 2 lives.
He's got 2 lives. He's not going to take 29.
He's got 2 lives.
Yeah.
So he has a carousel round that can potentially get him Aurelian Soul or a Kale.
Yep, that is possible. Still needs 1 more Kale besides that. Aurelian 2 would be a little bit easier to finish. Nice MF ult, but man, the mech is just so strong that he might have it.
5.
No Celestial buff, though, so no healing coming through here. No stun, though. Oh, and no Demolitionist for Kiyoon actually made a big difference there. And that Rumble didn't get the stun and barely lost out. No kills or ace in the carousel.
Here, the Zephyr is going to be taken by Kiyoon, though.
Oh man. Kiyoon just like tiptoeing towards it, being like, "Oh, do you have a chance? Do you have a chance to get the Zephyr? No, no, you don't have a chance to get the Zephyr." All right, so the search is on. He's got to look fast. Does he find the Aurelian Soul too? He does. That is
Does.
big.
Now can he find Kale?
I think it's probably too late to find the Kale, but he can lose another round, like we talked about. He's still got 2 lives essentially.
He
Probably
doesn't
gonna
want him
cloak
to
on
keep
the
his
Zig,
units
maybe.
bunched together. The reason why normally people will put MF on the other side, right? But you need MF on this side in order to gain the benefit of the chalices.
It's actually kind of nice. She dodged a lot of the aggro from the infiltrators there, but man, the mech just tears through the rebel army.
Yeah, the Zephyr making a huge difference because she's not MF isn't able to start her ult before they're able to get to the Kale.
Seems that way, yeah. All right.
I wonder if Kiyoon's holding Kales.
Would not be surprised, but no, he's not. Sometimes Mech Infiltrator includes Kales as well, but not in this case.
I guess that is the better play. He has 2 fizzes on the board. I'm not the mech expert here, so I'm not sure how the mech chooses who goes in the mech.
It's random.
Okay,
It randomly takes 3 mech pilots. Yeah, he actually did have 2 fizzes. That's wild.
Yeah, that's why.
Huh.
Very confused.
Right, because I thought that would give you the chance of having the mech just not get items, but that might not be the case. Either way, the game is over, and Kiyoon wins another one. 2 wins with Mech Infiltrator in a row for Kiyoon. Chat going wild. The Mech Clown, Mech Clown or Mech God? You be the judge.
I don't know, man.
I'm
Kiyoon's
laughing because I'm so sad.
with mech, and like we said, everyone has to do their part to stop the mech terror. Otherwise, he's just gonna keep going.
Yep.
And so holding on to his units is the only way at this point. Even though I think as long as he secures another top 4, he is almost guaranteed first place.
Yeah. So Khroen actually the next closest at 20 points. Kurum with 19. But Kiyoon by and far away the leader right now. He'll still be at 28. Even if he takes 8th next round, which would require Khroen to win to beat him, honestly. So basically the only way for Kiyoon to not get first is if Kiyoon takes 8th and either Khroen or Kurum get first, it seems like. Yeah, because if Khroen got second and Kiyoon got 8th, they'd be tied at 28 points, and Kiyoon has got more firsts, obviously. So Khroen would have to first. So basically, Kiyoon needs to get 8th, and Khroen and Kurum need to get first.
Yeah,
I believe is the breakdown of.
The way to guarantee that is to contest his mech with like more people that roll him.
Operation Troll Kiyoon maybe underway here, but I don't have anything against Kiyoon. I really don't. I find no problem at all with him playing the strongest comp if it's uncontested and not being contested. That is not his fault. It is a strong comp. He's also extremely good at playing it. Mech Infiltrator did get significantly weaker in the mid game, I would say, and he's making up for it by playing some pretty solid early game TFT. So he's playing a very strong comp. He's still a skillful player.
He's definitely playing his early and mid game really, really well in terms of transitioning into his mech, especially just being able to get items, even if they're the most, not necessarily the most optimal. And here we are, moved right into a medium Legends Galaxy. This is the first time we've seen this whole tournament, actually.
So medium legends. Let's talk a little bit about how this can affect Kiyoon's game plan of going Mech Infiltrator. And I think the 2 big things to consider here is, one, Kiyoon has more HP to burn in terms of getting into the Mech Infiltrator, so it's actually safer. The other thing to think about is that someone else could possibly contest him more effectively by also going Mech Infiltrator, also having extra HP to burn with that. So I think maybe it makes it a little bit more successfully contestable, but I think mostly it's just good for Kiyoon.
Yeah, definitely Kiyoon just still going for those mechs.
Yep. Woshi Mech.
I don't know. I think Medium Legends is going to make sure that everyone has a fairly strong comp, and that a lot of the time people aren't going to drop out early due to just not having completed their comp at all.
So are we going to see any crazy hyper roll stuff too? Because more people have some more HP to burn.
I think so. I definitely think people will still hyper roll, but
Yeah.
economy becomes even more important in this mode. I'd say
Yeah.
Shendu just saying, "Screw it, I'm going back."
Yep. Why wouldn't you? You know, why
I
would you
can't
not? You know,
wait to go mech.
do you want to win the tournament or not? You know. All right. So let's see. Kiyoon with a big old 125 HP Moldiver. And so I think the bigger question is, what are other players going to do to try to stop him? Like, if you're not going to contest him, what's the best build against Mech Infiltrator? I would have to imagine it would have to be something with a Last Whisper. Generally, that before the patch was accepted as the item that was pretty good versus Mech Infiltrator.
Yeah.
But the real trick is keeping the person with the Last Whisper safe from the infiltrators and the mech.
Yeah, it's very hard to do that since usually if Kaisa or Shaco gets big enough and they are able to get onto that unit, they likely just one shot that unit and make it very very hard for your carry to even take down the mech.
Right.
Of course,
So
with Last Whisper, it's very possible if you are a ranged unit and are able to protect them.
yeah. All right. So Shendu. Oh, I think he's gonna do it. I think Shendu's gonna contest him. I've got a feeling this game. I
Shendu's
saw
committed.
some.
He's one of those guys who will commit to more or less contesting a comp.
he's gonna do it. The honorable Shendu
He said,
contesting
I
Kiyoon.
can't win, so we're gonna try to take down first place. We can't have a mech winning here.
So I mean, here's the thing: is that like we were saying earlier, Q needs to get eighth for anyone to have a chance of beating him, which is
This is
crazy.
the only way to get him eighth.
Yeah. The discussion going on. Khroen possibly re-rolling the Zayas. He's been enjoying doing that so far today. But on board with Shendu now as he considers his life, you know, thinks about the bigger picture, thinks that this is just one game in just one tournament. But if he can beat Mech, he will be a legend. He will be the real winner. But I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible that Kiyoon doesn't win this tournament.
Yeah, with the way things are going right now, Kiyoon is very likely to not get eighth. I mean, he's a good enough player to just guarantee that doesn't happen.
Well,
With
yeah,
his performance right now, like
that's what I was saying too. Where it's like it's not like Kiyoon's a it's not like he's a scrub or something like that. Only knows how to play one comp. He's
yeah,
a genuinely good teamfight tactics player, right?
yeah.
But his method of playing right now is to use the strongest comp in the game and scare people away from doing it. And hey, if that works, right?
Yeah, he basically asserts his dominance on this team comp and says, "This is mine, and if you take it, you fight for it, you're probably going to get eighth, and
Yeah.
I will probably come out on top. You know, you're still going to affect me, but you'll get eighth, I'll get fifth or fourth or something, and then you're the one that suffers."
It's certainly not his problem. On the ladder right now, he generally just goes mech, but he also plays a good amount of Space Jam games.
Well, we'll see if he decides to pull out the Space Jam as a big pivot, just to say, "Hey, you targeted my mech. Well, I'm going Space Jam."
Yeah, there you go. All right. I'm just looking at his profile right now. Okay, so over to the first carousel. Shendu, what do you want to grab? Something mech related, I guess.
Build that Bramble Vest.
Khroen, here as well. Let's see what he's got planned. He grabbed the belt. So again, opportunity. You'd imagine that'll get turned into a red buff.
Maybe red buff or Zephyr. Zephyr always useful at all points in the game.
Maybe he's got a Zephyr the mech strategy planned. And a Prey the mech doesn't get QSS plan.
Yeah, a lot of people used to. There, a lot of the player strategies against Mech Infiltrator players was to just Zephyr the mech, and then kill all the infiltrators before the mech comes down, then
Right.
focus on the mech. Right.
Mhm.
However, QSS makes that almost impossible, and that was why QSS became more of an adaptation towards the mech.
Right. Yeah, before it was a lot of like GAs you would see on mech and stuff like that. Now it's just all QSS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you can't get the QSS, Trap Claw is more or less your alternative.
Right. Yeah,
The
probably.
Trap Claw activation is always good.
Yep, because at least if you get Zephyred when you come back down, you'll probably be stunning somebody important.
Yeah.
QSS and Last Whisper already on the Xayah on the other side there. So let's talk about Khroen's board right now. Vanguard Space Pirates, so just simply a strong board early on. You can tell he's looking for the Xayah 3. That's the goal here probably, but he has the ability to be flexible as well. Mordekaiser picked up. He's going to sell that for econ maybe. So I think he's kind of leaning a little bit towards Darkstar as well, which is still Darkstar is a stronger comp than people kind of give it credit for. I think right now we haven't
Yeah.
seen a ton of it in this tournament, but I think it is still a strong comp in that you can get good results, and if people can test it, it's not the end of the world because you're more reliant on 2 stars.
It's definitely more Xerath based than before. And so making sure you get a strong Xerath and Jin is vital to making Darkstar work. Compared to
Yeah,
before,
that's right. The
you really
other
one of them.
Right. The other thing we've seen in this tournament is kind of the return to the double Jin carry, where a lot of players will get more than one Jin's worth of items and then just run 2 Jins and find success with that because it's just a more consistent end game build than finding the Xerath, and just kind of a plan where it's like, well, if I don't find the Xerath, I don't find the Xerath. I've got 2 Jins. And if you get like a Jin 3, then you're in great shape either way. So it's a couple different ways we've seen players sort of utilize that lately and in the tournament over the weekend. Let's see
Yeah,
what Khroen gets off the Krugs here.
different ways.
Yeah. All right. So I think if you get like a gloves here, you're very happy. Infinity Edge would be pretty ideal. Gets a all right. So he gets a bow. So could make a giant slayer out of that. And there is a rod. All right. So if he commits to the Xayah build, the rod can power up Jarvan, but I've got a feeling he's going to go a different direction here. He's collecting Vanguards. Oh, and there's 2 2-star Vanguards. I think this is going to turn into snipers here.
Yeah, I think
Got
it
a feeling.
very likely.
Yep. He's not doing anything like building the static shiv or anything like that. There's a Runins. Yep, he's going snipers. Yeah. Pretty much confirmed by building the Runins. So looking for an Ash or looking for a Jin at this point. If you get the Ash, you just transfer those items onto the Caitlyn. And if you get a Jin, then you just put the items on the Jin because those are pretty much Jin items.
Yeah, pretty much. It does seem like he's looking for a transition.
Yeah. And it's fine to leave the sword on the Jace. You could always sell it later, but in Vanguard Sniper, which I do believe is actually a little bit better this patch because of the Vanguard buff. It's easier to transition into it. But with Vanguard Sniper, a lot of times people will run Jace as their second carry. And there's the Ashe. All right. And there's a Wukong. Oh, that's perfect. So I guess you could put the Wukong in instead of the Mordekaiser right now if you wanted like a little bit of a power boost. And there's the Ashe. Yep. Put the Caitlyn in probably. Yeah. There we go.
Caitlyn, yeah, it's definitely just temporary until he moves until he can get his Jhin in, do Vanguard snipers.
Yeah. Yep. So just some minor alterations there to give him the strongest board possible in the direction that he wants to go. A lot of times people will remove the Leona later on in the game for the Mordekaiser, but since it's a Leona 2 right now, might as well keep it in. It's going to be a little bit stronger. Oh no, Caitlyn just got eaten during her ult.
Well, Shendu does
Shendu.
have a phase early, and that's going to help him a lot when it comes to contesting Kiyoon.
Yeah.
So,
Twin
Mech,
Kaisas. Oh no.
big
Doesn't matter.
mech contests moving
Yep.
forward.
Kiyoon, though, still over 100 HP, so he's still going strong for the moment.
Healthy. I don't know if he's still running, if he's transitioned to his mech yet either. It's very likely that he hasn't. Since
Right.
the way Kiyoon plays it is he just runs a normal early mid game comp, and then into mech.
Yeah.
Whereas the way the Chinese players do it, or like in Shendu in this case, they tend to just kind of open fort and only pick up mech units.
Which is definitely easier to do on a galaxy like Medium Legends also.
Yeah. So it's more of a commitment on the Chinese part is saying we're going hard already from the beginning. If you're not going to start moving over, we'll probably try to take as many units away first, and you have to take longer to transition over to mech.
The nice thing about that is that now that Kha'Zix is buffed and 2 Infiltrator is buffed, you do get a slightly stronger early game if you just straight up go mech from the very beginning. So at least when you lose those early rounds, you won't lose them quite as hard as you did before.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely agree. Is Shendu gonna go that? Oh, no.
Doesn't need the fizz, I suppose.
Doesn't need it, but
Goes for the cloak. So I think you want to complete the QSS.
Kurum does take it, so.
All right. I mean, it also had a sword on it too, so that's just a good item in general.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It was just like, if you're gonna deny someone mech, go all the way. Just don't even give them the fizz.
Sure. Well, it's easy to deny with a good item like that. So Khroen, let's see what he. Actually, let's swap over to Hudie. All right. He grabbed a belt, I believe, just now. And is he actually going Space Jam? No, I gotta imagine this is some sort of transition. He's got the Aurelia in there for Mana Reaver, so he could go a couple different directions. All right. There is the
Mana Reaver seems like a good.
Kassadin.
Mana Reaver's always good.
I kind of actually like the Aurelia in there instead of the Kassadin one if you're not getting Celestial out of this.
Kassadin does just have a really good crowd control ability with his disarm, and it's just overall very, very strong. You don't know if I think he does want to keep the Aurelia eventually, but in the meantime, Kassadin CC is just going to be a lot more helpful in this situation.
Yeah, you're kind of choosing crowd control over executing, basically.
Yeah, you want to leave the execution to Darius.
If you can do it. He's just not very powered up yet.
I mean, yeah, he's executed 4 units. Just none of them decided to carry gold on them.
Sure. All right, so 120 HP for Hudie. Finds another Aurelia. So this will be more telling if he actually picks up that second one or not. And he's not picking it up yet. I think he seems fairly committed to Space Jam at this point, but not going to really find that Darius 3 anytime soon.
I feel like he's gonna pick up. I feel like he wants to sell the Karma and buy the Aurelia, but I'm not sure.
Well, I guess the other option would be Celestial. Yeah, he could go a couple different directions. Blade Masters could still be the option. Definitely wants to add Celestial in at some point. This build is looking a little bit weak at the moment, though. He hasn't really picked a firm direction yet, it seems like, and other people have. And so those power spikes that are happening when you make that commitment early on aren't happening for him. So he needs to go in more of a firmer direction. And he actually drops the other stuff, picks up or keeps the Ash and the Karma. So that definitely tells me that he's thinking Space Jam here.
Yeah, he's definitely changing the direction that he initially was going.
Right.
Not looking really towards brawler blasters. Doesn't really have the items for it, so
Oh yeah, definitely not. Yeah, this is definitely Space Jam. I mean, he's got a lot of the units that you use for it, like the Karma, like the Ash. You've got well, I mean, Ash is like a transitionary. Well, no, she actually makes it in the late game. Yeah, it's weird to think that she's in this comp standard, but the Celestial buff just makes it worth it.
yeah, it's just you don't really have a protector, so I feel like it's a little bit. It's not necessarily Space Jam. It's just kind of maybe it's Dark Star.
Well, he did pick up the Shakos. I think the end. I think at the end of the day, he's not exactly sure what he's going to go. I think because right now, Cassidon, Ash, uh, Darius, you've got a bunch of stuff that goes in Space Jam. He's missing the Rakan. He's missing the Jin Zhao. So, like you said, he doesn't have the protectors. And now that he is trying to pick up Dark Stars, I think you might be right. He might be trying to make some sort of transition, but it feels really awkward, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It feels a lot like last game where we just got really confused halfway through. I think maybe maybe he's doing some really big brain thing that I just have no idea. My brain's too small.
Well, as far as results go so far today, it's a fifth, fourth, fifth. So it's been pretty middling results. And when you see a player consistently finishing like just outside the top five, that tells me that they're good at putting together early game comps and they're struggling to put together a firm direction in the mid to late game, which I feel like is what we're really seeing here and what we've seen in other games. So it seems like just a little bit of unsureness about how he wants to play this meta. Let's move over to Becca and see what she's up to right now. Has the little Rebels package going here, and yeah, so it looks like some combination of Rebels, Blade Master could go into like more Blade Masters or more Rebels, depending on what she gets.
Yeah, definitely there was a consideration for mana printing, but then it was like then it didn't really happen, and so it's really hard. I can't really tell what where we're going with this comp right now.
Right. Well, it's like I mentioned, where I think she's got two different directions, right? She's got the option to commit to Rebels, which is definitely strong, as we saw last game, or the option to commit to Blade Masters, which she herself has actually found some success with in this tournament. Either one, I think, is a valid way to go. It just kind of is waiting and seeing, what the game gives you, really.
Yep. I mean, you do have a lot more time to work with. You have a lot more HP. That gives you around like 2 or 3 extra lives, I'd say. In
I think the scary thing to think about if you're Becca is that she's at 61 HP already, and you subtract 25 from that, that's where she would be in a normal game. And so it is kind of reaching that point in the game where you need to start winning consistently again. Here comes Shendu, though. Shendu finds a demolitionist spat. So really strong mech start for him too. He's got the Bramble Vest and QSS. So this is looking like a very strong mech board for him, but he's down to 66 HP. So we'll see what happens.
he still has a lot of gold to roll down with, and he's just more or less slow rolling. If he really needs it, he has a Nico's help on his bench. So I think Shendu is well on his way to getting to his power spike on Mech.
He should start win streaking now, yeah. All right. Full item carousel before Arc Raptors. There's a chalice. Do you go for the chalice?
She's looking, she's
Oh,
thinking,
she
and she takes
she
it.
just loves the mana printer Sona right now, so that doesn't surprise me too much.
Shendu thinking what he wants. Does he want the Zeeks or does he want the Frozen Heart? Frozen Heart.
So if
Not the
I
best item on the mech, but you can make do.
yeah, I would say so. I'm going back to her 6 Blade Master game. I'm trying to find that to see what exactly she ran in that. Let's see.
Replace that Yasuo with E at least.
Yeah.
Or
So
just drop the E in, never mind.
sure. So it looks more like just straight up rebels, probably, because 6 Blade Masters, you wouldn't really be running the Sona. So I think she's making kind of a commitment to running rebels now.
Possibly, seems like
Yep,
it.
just based on how she built the 6 Blade Master board that she played earlier in the tournament.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Yeah.
I think also the items on Sona could very easily be just moved over to Aurelion Soul.
Yeah, very true. Or a Misfortune, honestly, which is
Yeah.
another popular champion that pops up towards the end game in Rebels. All right, she's winning. Inay takes a big shot after not losing a lot of HP for a long time. That's her lobby leader right now.
Yeah, Inay's still at over 100 HP, so
Mhm.
he is very healthy,
Right.
comparatively.
Yeah, I am curious as far as what he's been working on so far this game too. But I think Becca right now has found a pretty stable place to be at and conserve some gold, maintain her HP, and kind of go from there. Seems okay for the moment, anyway. Did
So I
I
think
see a Star Guardians
he
board?
has a stronger mech comp than Kiyoon does right now. I'm not positive, but I think it's a little bit stronger.
Seems close, but Kiyoon does have a lot more HP.
Yep, he does.
And here's
But
Hudie. So he picked up another sniper. And going double snipers is actually an okay transition as far as Space Jam goes.
yeah,
While
definitely.
you look for some of those late game stuff, but he's missing the protectors though, which makes this build really weird. Uh, because he sold the Shakos, so I don't think he's going Dark Star now. At least it'd be really hard to. But at least he's found a board that's working for him for the moment. All right,
Snipers are
let's see
still
what
really
Ina's up to.
strong overall, and I think I think there are like two people in this game running snipers. Sniper.
Yeah. Well, snipers are generally pretty uncontested, so
Yeah, I mean, if
more
you
than
get it
two
early
of them in
game,
sniper.
why
That's a weird lobby.
not?
Yeah,
So Mana Reaver Blade Master.
right. All right. And there's nothing wrong with that. Very, very strong build. Looks like he didn't get the Zaya carry, so just going for more of a traditional Mana Reaver Blade Master build. This is something that we've seen pop up a lot since 10.9 hit, relying on the Aurelia Kale and then a third Blade Master, which is usually Shen because you want to incorporate Chrono into it. The big thing for him is that he found an early Thresh, which is going to be great to utilize. Getting things like the Echo, red buff is a little bit interesting, but could be good on the Echo or on the Katsuden. Okay, so gets that for Valkyrie then.
You put it on the Aurelia. I mean, not the Aurelia. The Kaisa.
Yep.
More or less, just I believe. I believe that red buff might have came from one of the full item carousels, so that he just kind of whatever has to deal with the
Or he
item.
built it early and just didn't go into blasters after all. It's one of those items that like you want to go into blasters if you build it, but at the same time, if you don't, like it's always a good item anyway.
I mean, you just attack once and it applies, so you're good.
Sure.
Poppy versus
Oh, Poppy time.
Poppy
Can
versus.
Poppy beat this though? I
It
don't
looks,
know.
it looks like it. Oh
Oh,
no!
Fizzle.
Time
The
the shark.
Fizzle came in just in time to deny the shield. Yeah. And so you really need the Bramble Vest and the Dragon's Claw, and the Death Cap if you want to create Reddit highlights, basically, with Poppy 3.
Turn on his cam for this game. I
Wow.
just realized that. We
Brave
finally
man.
see the legendary Inay.
There he is. Behold. Behold his strong composition. I like the Vi with the Frozen Heart and Ionic Spark as well. She is such a great um, item holder with those types of things. She can really be disruptive to the back line. Looks like she'll just attack the Lux probably, Or no, actually, she finds the Kazakhs. Okay, that's something. Can he break the mech though? The mech
I
of
mean,
Shendu.
oh, she hit the, she got stunned. Kale, come on. Kale's trying. Oh,
Well, see, this is why Demolitionist Kaisa is so good, right? You get
stops
to,
momentum.
yeah. You basically just like put a hard stop on like the Kale damage or the Zaya damage or something like that, and that gives you time to finish her off.
Yeah, and I guess one of the biggest counters to the demo spat is getting a trap claw. She stuns you. She tries to stun you and gets stunned instead.
Right.
And I think that is the best. That is probably the best way to deal with infiltrators.
Yep. I suppose while that's happening, she's still stunning like the rest of your team anyway. So it
Yeah,
would save one person, or
you're
let's
one
slows her down at least.
unit that you want to do DPS.
Sure.
That's a really strong Jinx, though.
Yeah, it is. No red buff or giant slayer, so missing two of the pretty high priority items on Jinx. But the attack speed is really going to make a big difference, and yeah, that Jinx tears through the rest of the team. Red buff on Ezreal as well just ensures that it's getting spread around, so that's a perfectly fine brawler blaster board.
Yeah, she without the red buff and Giant Slayer, Kurum went for the alternative of IE Last Whisper.
Right. Which probably came off of a Zaya that he was working on earlier.
It's just as strong, but not as good, but just as strong. Just a little bit different in terms of execution.
Yeah. Oh, multiple trap claws. Wow, look at this carousel. So many good items here. Trap claws, dragon's claws, giant slayers, IE, death cap. Like pretty much everything is good on this carousel.
Like, even the Celestial Spat is
Yeah, much
don't
more higher priority than it used to be for sure.
Shendu takes the IE, huh?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Wonder what he's using that for. Maybe he has a strong Shaco or a strong Kha'Zix.
He could have that. He could also just have a mech with an extra slot. I think he just had Bramble Vest and QSS, so he might be adding that. Xerath 2 for Hudie. So he managed to he's managing to make a bit of a Darkstar transition after all. Looks so unsure. He even sold the Shakos early on, but finding that Xerath 2 I think will help a lot.
Yeah. Inay over here did level up to 9, and he's basically finished his comp. He just needs to level up all his units at this point.
Yeah. Deciding if he wants to move those items off of the Vi, looks like he does.
Just two.
Yep. Finds a couple Lulus.
Does need to get items onto his yeah, he did basically need to get items onto his other units.
Thresh pulls in Thresh. And Thresh 2, oh, barely pulls in the Soraka at the end, but is the heal going to make a difference? Maybe not much of one. Morella Namicon on the Aurelian Soul is pretty good, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough here.
It's
Or
trying.
is it Lulu all to the very end? Nah, Relly was still up.
Becca still alive. One more life left.
Exactly. One life to live, down at 8th place right now. And Becca's results today have been all over the place, 7, 3, 8, but it looks like it's going to be a rough end to the finals lobby for her. Meanwhile, we'll check out what Shendu is up to, Mech Infiltrator, and has a Frozen Heart on the mech too, which is kind of an interesting variation. Look at all the items on his bench.
I'm surprised he used
He's
those
the
items.
wealthiest man in TFT right now.
Like, I'm very surprised that the items are still there.
He's gotten so many items this game. Look at that. I mean, I guess, yeah, you start itemizing the Shaco, but is he close to like hitting a Shaco 3? This is very odd. I mean, is he just gonna like swag walk all over everybody and just not put the items on anyone? Fighting Becca. Becca already in the corner, trying to avoid elimination. Did break the mech. Sona printing mana, and Becca actually does have enough to take down Shendu this round and stay alive. Yeah, the healing from Sona was pretty strong.
I just like watching Cerulean Soul dance.
Yeah, he's shaking it, whatever it is.
All right. Oh, Shendu just more or less. I think he was waiting for after this round to spend all his money. And he does need to see what Kiyoon is doing, and I think it's going to be a battle to see who can last longer.
Yeah, I think we'll see him go to 8 and add in Valkyrie probably. If you can find a MF or a Kale. Kane drops a, what is that? Giant Slayer? Yeah.
Yeah, it's Giant Slayer.
A little bit tough to see at the moment. So he's got so many AD items. This is crazy. Rolling down now, finds the Kale. There we go. Finds another Rumble, trying to find those 3 stars. That would really push him over the edge as far as his ability to win this game. Another Rumble. There's a Shaco. He's so fast. There's a Kale. Can he find the Kale too? Sells the Shaco. Interesting. Picks up the Aurelia. Oh, I don't know about that. All right. Just trying to maybe find another Fizz or something like that. He's got 2. No, he doesn't even have 2 Fizz 2s. There's a Kaisa 3. All right.
He doesn't have time. He was going to whichever one he found. He was going to move. He was going to Nico the other one.
Sure. All right. Oh, but Khroen has a pretty strong Darkstar build going now. And he's going to win the round. Interesting.
Well, does not get one more use. So Shendu's down to 1 life.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Kiyoon's still 41 HP.
Yeah. For him, hopefully Kiyoon is not holding enough rumbles.
Well, I mean, remember what we said earlier where Kiyoon needed to get 8th to lose?
Yeah.
Well,
that's already over.
Somebody else got 8th. Yep. So I believe that locks it down for Kiyoon because he's going to get at least 2 points from this. So he's going to be at least at 29. Actually, no. Look at the point totals again. I think Khroen, if Khroen wins, he could still win. So Khroen is the only one who can get more points than him by taking first if Kiyoon takes 7th.
I don't know, but I mean, that's very hard since Khroen is in fact at 11.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very hard. Yeah. Like I said, it seemed impossible for Kiyoon to not come in first in this tournament. So we'll see what the other placements end up as. Lulu Alt comes in, Jinx so far untouched, but that's a big stun. Kaisa taken out. And
Yeah.
Shendu, oh dear. Shendu, an impressive player throughout the tournament, about to make his exit. Not in the position he would have chose in the final game, but a very strong tournament in the group stages from Shendu. Number 1 in standings before the final lobby. GG's.
Yeah, we have now we have here Honglian and Kiyoon left for those two being very close to the bottom. 1 loss for either one of them will have them go out, but you see the top 3 still very close, 46, 45, 44 HP.
Yep. So Khroen finishes at 22 points. And I believe that locks it up. Yep. So Kiyoon definitely going to be our champion here. The question is, by how much? Kurum doing a little bit more damage here. The Xerath, though, oh my gosh, that Xerath damage, just obscene. And this is what I'm talking about when I say that Dark Stars is still strong. Now, he did find the Xerath too, but I think in general, you shouldn't be afraid to go Dark Stars. All right, so Thieves Gloves. Always nice. Kiyoon goes in and grabs one. Nice to just toss on the unit.
Cho'Gath 3 right now.
Does he?
Yeah, he's 1 away.
He's 1 away, yeah.
Cho'Gath with the Thief Gloves.
Yeah. Well, that would be sick. He's going to get different items. Can you find it? Oh, he found it. There's a Cho 3. Oh, come on. Come on. You got to do it.
He's trying to figure out what items he wants.
Right. He wants the Thief Gloves because he wants to put the other items on someone else here. So, who gets it? Celestial Spat can go on anyone, really. Warmog's on the Malphite would probably be ideal because it buffs the shield. Redemption on the Vi makes the most sense there. So we'll see. Items.
He's going to save the redemption for right before a unit dies. He needs to make sure the Celestial goes in before.
Too late to put the Warmogs on the Malphite. So yeah, might as well put it on the Lulu now for some HP. And he's winning this. Inay getting run over, man. That Cho'Gath does a lot of damage. Double Frozen Heart Cho'Gath, by the way, out of the Thieves' Gloves. How does that feel?
Yeah, you're not attacking. Oh, will he take one of the Blitzcranks out and put in another Jinx? Probably not. Maybe.
Oh, why not? I think that's a great idea. Just more
Yeah,
damage, right?
with double Blitzcrank, you can pull all of their best units out of the corner.
Yeah, that is true. You do get to sort of counter one of the QSSs by grabbing whatever's next to it, for sure. Two things next to it. I don't know. He's going to go with the double Jinx for the damage. Hard to argue with either choice here.
Yeah, both
Going
choices
up
are.
against, yeah, going up against the ghost of Hudie, I believe.
Hudia's got an aura carrying Shaco right here. He's got a
Yeah.
double Zeeks and a
Wow.
lock.
Cho'Gath does like 4,000 damage right now with the ultimate.
Look at that attack speed from that Xerath.
Yep. Didn't matter. Yeah, Cho'Gath 3 is a win condition in a lot of comps, really.
Any 4 cost at 3 generally just helps you win as long as they don't die and actually cast their spells.
Yeah. I think here's the thing, like this comp is also really, really cool because it's not the norm, right? This is not what we usually see. It's not Brawler Blaster. It's actually Brawler. It's for Brawler, but it leans very heavily into the strength that the Rebel buff gives to Jinx. And then it lets you include a lot of cool side synergies as well. So I like that.
For sure.
Nico's. Oh man, he found the Jinx 3.
Oh, wow.
With that Nico's, that is a Jinx 3.
Wow, I think this actually might secure Kurum this game.
It very well may, yeah. Oh man, and he would be all right, well, let's see. Gets the Blitz 2, gets a Jinx 3. Who is his ninth though? That's the question now. Another Vi, I suppose, just to charge in there, but doesn't have enough to like afford the Xerath or something like that. Yeah, gonna give that to Lulu. Getting a frontline Lulu ultimate is pretty big. If she can ult the she was able to ult the Jins. It didn't matter. Cho'Gath killed all of them instantly. And Kurum looks like he is on the verge of winning this game. He did win the game. Inay out as well, and Kurum takes game number 3 and does just about as well as anyone else besides Kiyoon could possibly.
Yeah, that was amazing actually. Just
Game 4, rather, I should say.
Kurum actually hitting 2 4 cost 3 stars at the end, able to get a 2-star Cho'Gath, a 3-star Cho'Gath, and a 3-star Jinx.
Yeah.
It was guaranteed for him to win and close out that series. I
Yep.
believe it was probably him taking both of them out at the end, rather than just them knocking each other's out.
Right. So we're going to take a look at our final results in just a moment. We already know who number 1 was, but a bit of a comeback from behind gave Kurum the second place. But this tournament, like any tournament, like any competition, is all about first place. It's all about the champion. Ladies and gentlemen, your champion is Kiyoon, Mech extraordinaire, winning games 2 and 3 to help secure him the victory. Managed a 4th place in game 4 as well. So top 4s, all 4 games of the finals. Kurum with a very strong night of games as well. A 2nd, a 3rd, a 1st, and a 5th, which was really all it took to put him just into 2nd. Khroen taking 3rd, Hudie taking 4th as a Chinese representative. Shendu crushing the group stages, but ending up with a rough day in the finals. 19 for him. Inay, Honglian, and Becca round out the bottom 3. But congrats to Kiyoon, our champion for the first Starside Invitational.
Yeah, definitely Kiyoon showing that Mech Infiltrator still very strong comp. The other Chinese players also did very well, as well as Kurum being able to come back the way that he did, having the ending with a very very good game of a Cho'Gath 3 and Jinx 3, despite a little bit hiccups on the way.
Yeah. So I suppose at the end of the day, you got to look at all the awesome creativity that we saw all throughout this tournament, where it was a new patch. It's very much a new meta right now. Hyper rolling is back. Re-rolling is definitely weaker overall. We saw a big fall off in terms of protectors are just gone. Space Jam is pretty much gone. Slash Bros pretty much gone. Things like Star Guardian Sorcerer pretty much gone, with the exception of the Sona mana battery build, which seems little bit shaky. But now Brawler Blasters very very strong at the moment. Rebels are back. Combinations of Rebels and Blasters still very strong. You've got various builds that are centered around 3 Blade Masters looking really cool, including a reroll one, and even a couple Sorcerer builds that rely on some rerolls and some Vanguards early. And then Dark Stars, of course. You can't forget that. Obviously, a very strong comp, especially if you can get the Zereth too. So pretty wide variety of things to play and utilize right now in the meta.
Yeah, cybernetics have also come back, and it's just
Right,
really
cybernetics. Yeah.
it's although sometimes you have situations where some of the players aren't really, not sure what to go. There's just too many choices.
Yeah.
And so you kind of just have there are a couple games where like you saw Hudie, for example, was getting a little bit confused on what he wanted to transition into because there's just way too many options.
Right. So that's it. The Starside Invitational has come to a conclusion. Yuuj, it's been a pleasure casting with you. Any final thoughts on what we've seen over the weekend?
I definitely think that, just watching and being able to see players develop the meta at the highest level from the US and Chinese side,
Mhm.
or rather NA and Chinese side. We all the players are, very excited. They also probably really enjoyed this tournament. I definitely enjoyed watching and casting this tournament with you, DoA.
Thank you.
And hopefully we will be able to have more of these events in the future.
Yep, that's the hope. I'd love to do more of these in the future as well. It was a great weekend of games. I think we had a very unique and cool opportunity to watch a meta develop in the competitive scene in real time and include players from both regions. Props to the tournament organizers for putting this on and getting 2 regions together. It was great getting to see the Chinese players for the first time since in North America. It's kind of hard to keep track of what the Chinese players are doing over there on the ladder. And so getting a glimpse of the mindset and just sort of the thoughts around the economy and how they address that especially was really, really interesting, I thought. And yeah, just fun to see a bunch of comps, fun to see the meta change, fun to see the results. Mech again winning a tournament, and we'll see what the future holds for TFT. Definitely going to be more changes down the road. But thank you all of you out there for watching. There's going to be a lot more TFT across multiple platforms, multiple tournaments. TFT Esports is just getting started right now, and it's fun to be here at the very beginning. So thanks for watching. Go play some TFT, and we'll see you next time on Starside Invitational. Take care.